thought so. Hello and welcome to Valley Strange Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Ray, and I'm here with my co-host Roland.
What's up?
And Daniel.
Hello.
And we also have Valley Strange regular. Well, we had regulars. I had to amend that to just one person. So Bryce, welcome back to Valley Strange.
Yo.
And we have a special guest returning to MoQuest Studios. If you are familiar with the CineQuest video podcast, he was on the first 3 episodes and appeared on a Fat Food episode number 3. So welcome back, Gerry.
Hi there.
And today's episode, we're going to be... I said this... I might change this probably for better wording. On today's episode, we're going to be harnessing the information to make you aware and possibly help you survive an encounter with La Lechuza. It's fairly accurate, I think.
It's all right.
But before we get into the...
Harness.
I figured it's something you would say, Roland.
I'll give you half.
Unless it would be like on today's episode, we're going to be...
There you go.
The information to make you aware and possibly help you survive an encounter with La Lechuza.
That's so accurate, man.
Fucker. And again, before we get into that, we're going to talk about a bunch of strange news.
All right. Yeah.
And so the first article that we have here, I actually skipped the first one. Give me a second here.
Was that the sightings in Mexico?
The first one I had was the
werewolf.
werewolf sightings.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for some...
And that was something that Roland found.
Yeah, I was trying to find some history on it, but I didn't make the time for it.
You want to give us a little non-prepared summary of the article, Roland?
So...
Did you read this yourself or just link it?
No, I read it some time ago, but that's the thing. Like
we've been actually, Daniel, he linked it probably back in April.
Oh no, actually I remember this that document because I threw like 2 links in there. I think Brian had like 1 or 2 for a potential like Valley Strange News, just like mini-sode or whatever. So I remember this shit. I read that at the time. And actually, I wish we had talked about this next article.
Could have been a werewolf or a dogman.
Right.
When we talked about the possible dogman in San Benny.
That's right. I did see something about that
shitty
on
video.
The true horror stories of the Rio Grande Valley. I
They
think.
shot it on like a flip phone or something.
But yeah, on this article they actually mention
they've got some pictures of what they think to be marks on the ground and on a roof of possible physical evidence of the.
How long ago was that video uploaded?
Oh, the San Benito one.
Yeah.
that was
dude.
That was a strange news ago, man. That was a while
but
back.
like, how old was
Well,
that?
that's
How old was
No, I think it was like the video was
they
shot
took?
in like 2004, which
it
because the video was really
a while
shitty,
back,
but
yeah.
it wasn't released till 2012 or 13 or something like that, like or later.
Yeah, they
I think
sat
it
on
was
for a
shot
long
like
time.
on a Nokia.
Yeah, like
Nice.
an old Motorola Razor or something, like
Hey, that made a comeback, didn't it?
it did.
Yeah.
The actual
So-
website we are referencing is cryptidlab.com.
Right. So,
And this is a cryptozoology news, and the title of this article is "Werewolf Sightings in Mexico Spark Concern
Right.
for Locals." And this
So
was
this was,
written in April 24th of this year.
yeah. So it was some folks in a town called Coita in Chiapas, and they reported multiple sightings. They estimated it to be at about 6.5 feet tall.
For Americans, that's in southern Mexico, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, I thought we prefaced it that it had been sighted in Mexico.
No, it was in
but-
Mexico, but not what part of Mexico.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, they think it was roughly 6.5 feet tall, running along people's rooftops, which is how apparently they were able to get some of the evidence of it skipping around their fucking their houses.
There's a part of the article that says werewolf or dogman, and
Then you check out the Dogman shit, and that was cool.
it says the residents have claw marks and eyewitness accounts to base their werewolf hypothesis on, but does not mean that this creature can only be a werewolf, or could it be potentially other cryptid such as the Dogman?
Right. There's a really funny question apparently that they're faced with from looking at this, and it says, I'm just going to read it verbatim because it's hilarious. The municipality is now faced with one of history's oldest questions when dealing with potentially endangered predators. Should we kill it or not? Yeah. Some of them want to hunt it, killing it before it can kill them. Others suggest they should attempt to capture it because they're like, maybe it's hungry and just needs help, you know. And I don't know. But
also, the decision is also should be based on whether it's Bigfoot or a dogman, because in the lore, Bigfoot are usually like pretty much benign beings. They pretty much stay the fuck away from humans. But dogmen are usually up to no fucking good.
You know, that was one of my questions when I was reading this. That they say that the werewolf,
the law for Bigfoot,
like again, does he just need help or something?
Right. Yeah.
But the dogman, that's the guy to be fucking feared.
Fucking know? Douche. Fuck him.
Which is it's funny is that
like
the dog man or the werewolf?
Like werewolves had humanity beforehand or whatever, so they're like afflicted by a condition of lycanthropy. Right. Whereas like dogmen start that way, and they're just fucking dicks.
Actually, I saw something at the Bronzeville Freak Show. I think back in like 2004.
Jesus Christ.
They had like it was at the flea market. And I think I mentioned this on the first episode.
Dude, they have that same shit in Alamo.
Well, yeah, like they had the sign that said half man, half dog. And mind you, you have to pay like $1 to go in and see this.
For $1.
Well,
but the guy was lying down spooning a fucking dog. Like, half man, half dog. I was like, this guy's just fucking sleeping in the
on cuddle pile.
He was sleeping on like mud because it rained. So the whole floor was wet and it stunk.
Gross.
Oh man.
So
it's fucking gross.
Wow.
So like you put a link in here to it, but it does mention that you know, it's killing cryptids is a concern throughout much of the world. There are laws against hunting like Bigfoot, for example, in some areas of the United States. Killing any number of werewolves could be detrimental to their species' survival.
And they say the same thing on the same website regarding Bigfoot. And this was an article a year previous regarding the town in Washington or the county in Washington that has a law against killing Bigfoot.
Where have we been killing
Well, in California as well, in Trinity County.
It's just like a precautionary thing. So they don't want anyone going and killing Bigfoot if he exists, and they say that specifically.
Okay.
What's the penalty for killing Bigfoot?
I believe it's 5 years in prison or something.
5 years old.
Oh, really?
Hold on, let me look up the actual.
So
Like
anybody takes one down,
5 years of jail.
Yeah, anyone takes one down, like all you got to do is, you know, tough out 5 years in the pokey, and you can put that shit on your tombstone or whatever. Brag to all your friends.
Yeah.
I killed this.
If you kill it with your bare hands, though, no one will fuck with you in prison.
That's what I was about to fucking say, man. That's a good way to, you know, I killed the Bigfoot.
You fucking just like, I was hanging out in a tree for like 2.5
Yeah.
weeks. I leaped down on that motherfucker and just.
Right. And I choked him out, all 6 of his titties.
Segueing into the Bigfoot law, again, also from
Bigfoot law.
crypticlag.com. The article is called Trinity County. This is another county, I think, in Washington. Trinity County considers Bigfoot laws to protect cryptid in similar ways to endangered species.
Hold on. Who's fucking sitting down litigating this shit, though? That's
Imagine what it would be like in a fucking body of government, man, having to pass.
That's what I'm saying. Who's getting together and voting on this shit?
Hold on, we'll talk about that in
you.
just a second. Daniel, go ahead.
Just in case, I'm going to clap in case you need to cut this, but I think it's just fucking funny, okay?
Go ahead.
So do cryptid lives matter?
In Washington, they do.
I want to go to that march. I think it'd be pretty interesting seeing all those fuckers.
Oh my god! Defund monster hunters.
Van Helsing, your days are over.
You're going to jail, man.
If you can
We're
find
going to send in social workers.
if you
to
can
deal
find
with
the
these
name of
vampires.
the guy from Harry and the Hendersons who's going to go hunt Bigfoot, you know, maybe they based the law on this guy, but the law was made in 1969, previously in another county, I believe. But just going back,
Yeah, it's called the Henderson Clause in Washingtonian history.
Bigfoot has been a polarizing figure between animal rights organizations and hunters for decades now. Some suggest the potentially endangered species should be given the same protections as other endangered species, while others want to hunt the cryptid and gain proof of his existence. Now,
it is said that this is the first piece of Lithgow. I fucked that joke up. I was
You were
trying to put
going to
Lithgow
John
in.
Lithgow.
Yeah.
I was good.
Lithgowian.
Lithgowian.
God damn it.
Hey, you know what? I'll give you some points there, man. That was a good try.
Points are trying, you know. Like,
you got it.
Yeah,
Like, and I was
thank you
just
guys.
thinking, like, how can we? What does John Lithgow have to say about this?
Because I was trying to put like litigation and Lithgow together, so Lithgowization or
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Litigation.
Man. Fuck you.
Litigation.
I think this article came out in April 12th of this year as well. And again, there's another one that came out prior, and we'll get to that one.
You're
in just a
talking about
second.
the big
Ray,
Bigfoot
Ray,
law?
where was that? What state was it that had that governor that would write the
That's the same
the
site.
fucking Bigfoot erotica?
Oh,
You remember that, Ray?
that
I
fucking.
I think that was
remember.
James
that
Lane, Washington,
congressman
where these laws were
recently-
Well,
made.
there you fucking go.
That
There you
exact
go.
congressman was in the news recently, and he pretty much just got like kicked out of his own party or whatever the fuck.
Because of the Bigfoot erotica?
No, that's just what he's known
Because that's
for.
discrimination.
No,
Yeah, it is,
they-
man. That's fucking bullshit.
They did some other shit.
Free love, yo.
Where like, yeah, the
learned
conservatives
nothing
were
from the
like,
hippies?
"Fuck you," and we don't like you anymore. And he's like, "But I wrote Bigfoot porn." And no,
Did he really say that?
I mean, I'm
Just that way, too.
paraphrasing, all right. It's just this is the gist of the spirit of what he meant
Hell yeah.
to respond with.
Regarding the law, it says Keith Grove wasn't assumed. Says quickly asking why this was even on the agenda. And this was says she explained the increased enthusiasm for Bigfoot throughout Trinity County is even enough to warrant consideration, especially with the potential dangers that come with such enthusiasm. So basically,
The
the strong-
Trinity
the
County
strong-
one, that was in California, though.
yeah. I'm sorry. This is a different. This is a different.
Yeah,
county.
yeah. Just
The-
saying, like, there's two states that have like
Yeah.
official litigation or
Bigfoot legislation.
Yeah.
where
We're gonna get to the
Yeah.
Washington one that was done last year in just a
wow.
moment. But
That's
yeah, this
so
one was in
great.
California. Let me see. The enthusiasm for Bigfoot and his. I mean, you're gonna bring tourists and you're gonna bring people that might
Yeah.
want to prove
Exactly.
that Bigfoot is real, so they're gonna try and kill him. So
It
protect
has
them,
an
you know?
economic impact.
yeah, for sure.
It's bringing in the Bigfoot bucks.
The
Yeah.
Bigfoot bucks.
that's a
Yeah.
lot of like quarters going to be spent on big game hunter at the bars.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love that. Fuck yeah.
It says on March 29, 2019, the Travel Channel outlined the 8 most likely states to encounter a Bigfoot sighting.
It wasn't Animal Planet.
No, Travel Channel, like they have a real broad spectrum of
Squatch hunters.
subjects.
Oh,
Says
no, they do.
utilizing
They do.
There's
never
only so
before
much
released
planet,
data
Roland. You
from
only
the
go to
Bigfoot.
China so many times. Like, cryptids had to come around. Sorry, Ray.
Sorry. On March 29, 2019, Travel Channel outlined the 8 most likely states to encounter Bigfoot sighting, utilizing never before released data from the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. It's BFRO. BFRO. The information was obtained specifically for their follow-up log and tracking system.
Oh
Wow.
wow. Sounds elaborate.
And they reference the Patterson Gimlin film where they claim that they saw Bigfoot. It's the most famous clip of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Where he's walking and then he turns around, says
Yeah.
like "What's up," and then he keeps on walking. and
right,
shit.
yeah. Throws up the west side.
I don't know why
Yeah.
nobody has taken a cut of like fucking any goddamn can't remember the band now. Saturday Night Fever dickheads.
Bee Gees?
Yeah.
Bee Gees? Yeah.
Any Bee Gees and laid over that Bigfoot walking track. I mean, that's just.
I was about to say
just-
Hoobastank.
Well, who was saying?
All right, I
sounds
need to
Bigfoot-ish.
message Jamie so he can send you your
Sounds like the
letter
noise
of
Bigfoot
termination, I
makes when
guess, Ray, for that
when he
joke.
takes a shit, maybe.
Shit.
No,
I'm gonna cue
You know
fucking
what?
Hoobastank
Ray, you
music
are
right now.
No, you know
HR
what?
too,
Hoobastank
aren't you?
is the noise Bigfoot makes right before completion. Hoobastank. And then he's done. There we go.
Squirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Splash.
Later on in this article, it says Bigfoot laws. That's a title here. It says it should come as no surprise that the state that features the most Bigfoot sightings, Washington, has already established laws to protect the creature. It says the state passed a law in 1969 which makes willfully killing Bigfoot a felony. Says the law passed on April Fool's Day. But Count Commissioner Conrad Lundy insisted that there are some reasons to believe this cryptid exists, and it is not a joke. Says the law was amended in 1984 to include the possibility of insanity defense and protection from homicide if one is cornered by the creature.
Oh my God! Really?
Self-defense.
In 1991,
God damn,
stand your
really
ground
got
law
into
for
that.
Bigfoot.
in 1991, an agenda bill was
wait.
drafted in Whatcom County,
Now-
Washington.
How would a plea of insanity work, though?
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say.
like, I saw a Bigfoot, I lost my mind and killed it, but then it's like,
I'm back to normal.
I don't know.
I'm
Like,
back.
I know we would have to go read the more details
We need
about
to read the bylaws.
the insanity, the bylaws of this. It says, more importantly, the bill speculated on whether or not Bigfoot is a Homo sapien subspecies, suggesting the cryptid could be closer to humans than non-human animals. Unfortunately, Bigfoot is not a protected species in a vast majority of the world. At this time, we need more people like Bobby Chadwick, which is, I guess, one of the guys bringing it to Trinity County, fighting for the preservation and safety of the species, rather than ignoring the issue at hand because we do not have definitive proof of the creature's existence. If we don't act now, once we do encounter Bigfoot, it might be too late for legislation.
Thank you, Chadwick, for all your hard work.
I want to be on the jury for that guy making an insanity plea, just not guilty.
Chadwick's complete
Just on the
insanity.
premise that, like, you took out a Bigfoot, so not only did you demonstrate they existed, you made one less of them. You're a
Right.
god.
Not guilty.
Angel of death. Oh, yeah. You should walk freely among us mere mortals.
So Ray, in
Killer
that
myths.
article you're reading right now, are they saying that because it may be so much closer related to humans that it's almost bordering on manslaughter? Or what?
I would
Like-
imagine so. Again, we'd have to read like
Murder.
the detailed legislation on the.
Yeah, so is it
On
like
Actually, if they went
Bigfoot,
out
who is
hunting for
considered
it,
like a human,
wouldn't that be
is
premeditated?
attacking somebody and you kill it? So then, in like a
Crimes of
defense of
passion.
another life thing, but
I imagine if your life was technically in danger, you could get away with
feared
killing
for
it.
your
But I mean,
life?
if you just go and kill it and they prove that your life wasn't in danger, I don't see how they could do that. It's a goddamn Bigfoot.
They have hidden
But he doesn't have a
cameras.
gun. You have a gun
Well,
or a knife.
what if Bigfoot kills me? What's being done with that? Is he gonna go to jail?
No, just a slap on the wrist.
yeah, how's he gonna understand lights out? Like,
You go. You shouldn't have been out there, Bryce, trying to like fucking fuck with Bigfoot. Man.
Oh, okay.
You
All
know how I
right.
went in the moment, you know?
so
I was about to. I was
I
about
think
to
I just
say
figured
like
out our
maybe
side
they were-
project, like
maybe
our
they were-
real side hustle, guys. We're gonna go study law, cryptid law. And we're gonna start a law firm.
As long as we can start with
Yes.
bird law and then like laterally there we go. Like we'll study bird law as an excuse to go
Shapeshifter
into
law will be
Lechuza,
our first and primary
studies,
focus.
and then laterally move into cryptid.
You know, we
cryptid
really have to
law.
look into that to see if anyone is actually, if there is a law program out there for cryptid law, dude, let's all like fucking register like right now.
Oh yeah,
Or tomorrow.
they'll send you your certificate.
Let's go do the bar exam.
mail.
All right, man. Yeah.
Hey, maybe there's like extraterrestrial law or something. You know, like what are the laws within the
Hey,
extraterrestrial?
they
thing?
do need representation.
Somebody needs to
man, so-
represent those victims.
Everybody has universal rights.
And then you could piggyback on like environmental or animal rights law because you'd be like, I'm a non-human life supporter.
If you were to like be a student in I guess environmental law and you actually went in with the intention of studying cryptid law, like would they just laugh you out of the fucking classroom?
Probably. I mean,
And then you could like sue them for like kicking you out of class for not. I mean, it's a real thing now. There's
That's-
actually legislation on Bigfoot, so I mean, isn't that already like a basis to study it? You know?
Yeah. And so after we get
It's an
our
elective.
law firm off the ground for a few years,
an elective.
we're going to go into a split where we go to like a pro-humans encrypted cases like faction and then an anti-human or pro-cryptid approach.
like to minor
and then we're going
in
to start our other
cryptid
branch
law.
law firms. And then we just make money hand over fist, just trading over little law cases back and forth.
Suing
There's little
people.
backroom deals. Like, I think Nessie didn't do it, Sure. All right,
I saw a
man.
Reddit
It's your
post
turn to buy
about.
beer anyway.
I saw a Reddit post about like it was a shitty picture of Nessie saying that like Nessie isn't observing social distancing or some stupid shit like that.
Oh my god.
So I mean, yeah, like there's definitely some material there to work with. We just gotta expand on it, boys.
I think I just figured out my future.
Hey,
Cryptid law, here I go.
if Bigfoot's
Cryptid
not wearing a
law,
mask,
with a
does he
minor
have
and
to,
bird law.
fine?
If Bigfoot wants to,
Oh
he's not
yeah,
wearing a
and
mask.
actually does that new law actually as of Friday in Washington, Governor Inslee is going to make everyone wear masks like outside and in like in public.
So
in
are they
general
gonna
or
find
whatever.
Bigfoot for not wearing a mask?
Yeah, Bigfoot has to
Yeah.
wear a mask.
Daniel,
Should find him,
can
man.
can you like mention that to one of your colleagues at McDonald's? If hypothetically, if Bigfoot wanted a fucking Big Mac or something, does he have to wear a mask?
Right.
He would have to, right?
Just
Come
wear a
to the
mask,
store.
but no pants. Like it's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there's the no shirt, no shoes, no service, no mask apply to Bigfoot. I mean,
Right.
Can he
There's-
order through the drive-thru, or does he have to have his cryptid car?
I would just straight up just walk into the lobby and say that's
He's
my
got a-
service animal.
Oh, is he got like Flintstone that shit? You know, like log wheels and shit. Like,
This is my service Yeti.
yeah.
You can't say it's not legally. Fuck you. I just trained him really well to come find me at work. And he wants a cheeseburger, damn it. Give him one.
oh shit.
Where the hell do we go from here now?
Our next article.
I think that's an episode wrap, guys. That was a
we
great
covered
take,
like
We're
Yeah.
gonna have a whole episode on cryptid law, right?
Yeah.
We'll bring
Some
that up
hot
at some point,
Bigfoot
guys.
law takes.
that's sure.
Yeah. I mean, there is a dog man here in the Rio Grande Valley for sure,
Yeah.
and a goat man. Yeah.
And Dogman, we're not,
El
if you're
Chupa.
listening, we're not
K-bro.
lawyers yet. But if you need representation, just keep us in mind, okay?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We're
Contact-
gonna get our licenses and everything. When shit goes down and someone says you can't drink water here, dog man, you come and find us, right? We'll take care of you.
Contact
Moquest,
the
attorneys at
laws of
Cryptid Law.
Moquest Studios.
Starting the
We'll be
Anti-Defamation
Moquest
League
Law.
of Cryptids and Monsters.
Law, yeah.
Justice for everything.
Because cryptids
Nice,
matter.
nice. Like
Cryptids
this one.
matter.
Yes. God.
Oh shit! You know what? We should
That's
make the
perfect.
shirt.
We need to make
We
a
should
fu-
make
That should be a shirt.
Make a
Law.
fucking commercial, one of those lawyer commercials for Cryptid Law, man. So you gotta fucking do.
We just need to find somebody who has a
Oh, you-
fancy desk to lean on and have a
Yeah.
big book, you
Be
know.
like the Moquest giant or whatever the hell. What's
Yeah.
What's that stupid commercial?
I'm the Cryptid giant. You know?
I already have the scene. Like we'll be in Jamie's office, and I'll close my big book of zombies, and I'll be like, "Are you a cryptid? And do you need representation?"
Do you feel
Have
oppressed?
you felt persecuted by the
Yeah.
human race?
Underrepresented in society?
We're here to help.
Have people
At
come and
Moquest
just tried to
Law.
kill you for no reason?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you been tranquilized or filmed on a trail camera in any way?
And we are fighting day and night to get more states to adopt legislation to protect you and your families.
We're gonna make that commercial, guys.
Yeah, we need to. We need to.
We got the equipment.
We got the equipment, and does everyone have a suit?
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah,
I got one.
Then
We're good.
Moquest Law. What was the subtitle?
MoQuest Law.
Moquest Law.
Cryptid lives matter.
Justice
Oh,
for
man.
everything.
Yeah,
Justice for everything.
I like cryptid lives matter.
No, that's not tied in.
I like
that's
because
fine.
I know
It's too much.
it's too much.
It's too
but
much, right?
it's
No,
still-
there's a
it's
pile of
still-
jokes there, but goddamn,
Yeah.
bro.
It's still good. It's still.
I like the justice for everything because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
is someone accusing you of eating too many goats?
The chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
No.
We'll make sure you get 2 goats per week, and a penny won't come out of your pocket.
Right.
We could tie that in with the Roundup shit, like, because he goes into farms and eats the goats and all that, you know, the cancer from Roundup.
Fucking Monsanto.
Are we gonna like partner with Roundup and like try and like use it as protection for the chupacabra?
maybe.
That's you're talking about corporate.
We should get corporate sponsorship from like
Yeah.
Roundup and fucking.
But doesn't like Monsanto own Roundup? Those are some big fucking bitches to go against.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're not afraid to take on the big boys
Nah, fuck them.
Nah.
because we believe in the rights of all cryptids.
And we have the cryptid species behind us. So I mean, you just try and go against us, Monsanto.
That's right.
Cryptid's gonna come and
right.
fuck with you again. We're not.
You
It's
don't
not. It's
want
not a
Mothman
threat.
on your
I mean, it's
fucking.
just
You don't want
All I'm
Mothman as a
saying
bird.
is that there's a whole legion of scary shit that isn't mad at us right now and might take a nice little kind suggestion to fuck you up. That's all I'm saying.
Bigfoot's about to pull up with his
Do you want to sell
car.
it a quarter or not?
You go, do you really
We'll
want to
drop
come?
the
You want to
suit.
come into? You want to come face to face in a court of law with the chupacabra? I mean, I dare you. I dare you right now. Settle all the court, motherfucker. Save us all the trouble.
No, you tell the family of the chupacabra who's dying from like Roundup cancer,
Yeah, that's right.
who's like in an iron lung for no fucking reason except for theatrics in the courtroom. And you have those slick back fucking Monsanto dudes trying to fucking ratchet.
The fucking
he fucking comes in
chupacabra with
on,
like a
crutches,
crutch
like,
and like bandages on its head and shit.
Like Tiny Tim from fucking Christmas Carol. Mom, may I have some more, please?
Shit, he's British too. Goddamn.
Yeah, right.
Shit, is that a double hate crime?
Ooh,
Oh
Right.
shit.
man.
No,
Don't worry. Cryptid law
You can
has
make
your
so
back.
much money from this.
don't worry.
I mean,
You heard it here first,
justice,
folks.
Justice.
Smoke with law, justice for everything. We'll support you, cryptids. All right. Okay, so the next article that we're gonna go on to. This is quite a doozy, Roland. You had put this on the
one?
document first, and it is a Reddit post from High Strange, but actually came from Instagram,
Yep.
and it was a post from our favorite
Oh, yes.
To the Stars Academy ex
Right.
Blink 182 man, Tom
Right.
DeLonge.
Oh shit.
You mean X? I thought, aren't they still a thing?
They are. He is not a part of it. They have Mike
Aw.
I
Skiba
thought
from Alkaline Trio
Oh.
taking his place. That's it.
I thought he
Little
came
music
back
trivia
or
for
something
you.
like
And then
that.
didn't Travis Barker fuck off from them too? Because
Nah, he's still on there.
Travis
too.
Barker's got plenty of work in the hip hop world, actually.
Travis Barker's just making money from
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. But on this Reddit post, and we'll read Tom DeLonge's actual Instagram post. It says in January, Tom DeLonge posted this picture that was taken from a man in the 1950s who claimed to have regular visits from, quote, spacemen. I will, and then the guy who actually posted the Reddit post, I will post the entire IG
Can you
post
do it
in the
like a
comment.
Blink 182 song?
Oh, to read it? Oh, we can read it. Like, we can read that fucker like a Blink 182 song, right?
I never thought I'd meet an alien.
Roland, do you wanna read the post in Tom DeLonge's Blink 182 voice?
In the early 50s. Oh, no. Man was claiming
early 50s.
to have regular
Take like 14 minutes to read that
visits
blog post.
What's the year
from
again? What's the year
spacemen
again?
that were
Oh, no,
the same.
No, I can't even like follow that fucking
No.
rhythm.
Am I at a concert right now?
Shit, is that? Am I at a Blink
that
182 concert?
Yeah,
UFO contactees describe.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, stop already! Like, it's just not working.
Maybe not for you, but the listeners.
The listeners are jamming right now. That's what they're doing.
The probing lets me know she cares.
So stupid. Okay. No.
A man
okay.
was claiming to have regular visits from spaceman.
We need to bring a guitar in this thing. like-
Everybody
Yeah,
take a
that's
shot. Jesus.
Yeah, I need one.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna read it then.
yeah, just read it. It's fine.
In the early 50s, a man was claiming to have regular visits from spacemen that were the same entities that UFO contactees described meeting, as well as the same ones he said were portrayed in the Bible as angels. He said they had outposts in our solar system and had connections to Atlantis and Lemuria, or whatever. He took many photos in the early 50s, no Photoshop, no computers, no shit. But many were overexposed, potentially. because of the propulsion field coming from the craft. A man in 2017 wanted to make a 3D animation of these craft and asked to borrow all the photos and negatives from the 50s to help create the animation. Upon digital enhancement within a black negative, and it cuts off
This
there.
figure and a craft appeared.
Thank you.
This may be what people described as the tall whites or the Attentions or the angels of the Bible. They glow, they can almost look translucent.
Can't hear you, homie.
If they are surrounded by the electromagnetic force field, but they really may be walking around the earth just like men, as the Bible and Vedic text describe.
Vedic.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah, if you scroll in the comments, it's up at the bottom.
This the little post that he's mentioning.
Find it.
There was a article regarding the guy George Adamski.
Adamski.
Adamski, sorry, yeah. And basically, that was in 2018. He
okay.
describes this whole situation, and we'll link it. I'm not going to go over the whole article, but if you want to read it, you can. We'll link everything in the episode description, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can. All the links to all the articles that we reference are going to be linked down below. So
should we at least give it at least a little bit of background about the Adamski photos?
Yes, please go ahead.
I mean, they do have like some little bit of controversy surrounding it or surrounding them.
I got it.
But original photos,
No,
this
good.
guy was just shooting on an old like fucking Polaroid, like shitty. I think it was a Polaroid Brownie. And so there are like various exposure issues that I think was mentioned in the Delonge post. But they had some guy in, I don't know what fucking year, but basically just do Photoshop enhancements of the photos, not putting shit that wasn't there. Like he's got all of
2017.
his like steps laid out for his like homework. So you can recreate everything he did and various images that are supposed to be UFOs come into sharper view where you can see some detail on some of these crafts that seem to be like little just weird cone shaped blips in the air. And then some of these photos, instead of like one craft, there were actually multiple craft that were supposed to be in the shot, which is fucking fascinating. So the image at hand, though, that Delonge posted, I'm saying it's a reptilian caught like mid-shift or like mid-dimensions or whatever, like those little like little flares that like, you know, Ike and other reptilian conspiracy
Stepping
theorists talk about.
sideways.
Because my first thought was like, oh, that could be like a Pleiadian. But then I was thinking about like the destruction to the electromagnetic sphere and everything is energy. So what if this is some interaction with old photography methods and the lower fourth dimension interacting with our dimension?
So what, you're
But
saying,
looking
like,
at
they
the
could have
fucking
been
features of
lizards?
it, they're
People?
kind of sneaky, kind of a reptilian-y.
What was
did
that,
you say,
Jerry?
Were you saying that they were like lizard people? Or
yeah, reptilians.
Yeah, reptilians.
Sorry, Jerry doesn't have the context to that, to the Pleiadians.
Oh,
Daniel. Would
there's
you
a whole
mind-
pile of crazy out there, Jerry.
You mind just going into a little bit of...
I believe it.
Just
We've-
try to like
we've already
Google some
talked
David
about
Ike
cryptid
reptilians
law, so that's already
bullshit,
pretty crazy.
and yeah, there's a whole
Bigfoot
conspiracy.
has laws to protect him. I mean, I'm in the crazy right now.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the comment where I was reading the rest of the Instagram post is detail. It says this guy. He says that the picture itself that the gentleman posted. It says the 3D image resembles an image by artist Russell M. Hossein that Andrew Collins says are the Watchers of the Book of Enoch. So pretty much the picture looks like a 3D rendition of what the Watchers would look like in the Book of Enoch. So that's pretty interesting. So it could
Fucking
be
sweet.
lizards or it could be that.
yeah,
Well, arguably,
yeah. They're like some of those are like what they call like the Nordic aliens.
Right.
That
Yeah.
kind of have that blonde hair, blue eye kind of.
well, like the
Yeah,
Nordic, and
yeah,
also like the
that's it,
Pleiadians
yeah.
are supposed to look kind of
He looks
like
like fucking Thor.
Nordic as
Tall,
well.
Yeah.
blonde, fucking...
Skyrim, anyone?
Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the argument, Bryce.
Yep. Cool.
You got
yeah,
Midgard
this
coming
is-
into our plane, you know.
The picture looks kind of
Wow.
freaky if you look at it.
They did talk about it in Endgame.
It's pretty interesting.
they talked about it in
No,
Endgame.
but no. So you think it looks reptilian, Daniel?
I think there's
I could see that,
things
like-
to suggest because when like folks have talked about like seeing local congressmen or political leaders or people of influence that are, for lack of a better term, possessed by reptilians operating on the fourth dimension. There are also people that are hybrids between reptilians and humans, and sometimes they can essentially phase shift.
All right.
Where you can see flashes of the reptile in them.
Well, I've seen pictures of that. Like,
Word.
Yeah.
And so this image that we are looking at from this enhancement, like my first thought was like, oh, like the Nordics, maybe Pleiadians. But then I thought, well, looking at that, kind of that nose, that kind of a forehead structure, it could be. I don't know.
Okay. I gotcha.
We'll get into more.
Or it could just be a ghost.
'Cause
And so you have a UFO and a ghost in the same shot. And I don't think that's ever been done. So this photo could be doubly fucking famous.
We're gonna get into more of like the races of aliens later on in our episodes. But yeah, so just before we don't get too far into that, because that's another hole that'll take hours.
Oh, there's
to,
a
like,
whole other pile of
yeah.
shit to dive
hours,
into.
days.
Oh my God.
And yeah. So anything
I've
that
read,
we're
I've read
referencing,
literally
we'll get
thousands of
to it.
pages of this shit, and I still am just starting to try to get it. Like,
So what do we got next? What's the last?
I believe that is the last
That was
of
it?
our strange
Oh.
news segment.
I guess Daniel kind of wrapped it up when he was talking about the cone.
Yeah, that's the one
UFOs.
we were mentioning regarding the post. It's just to add some more context to, again, linking all these articles in the episode description. And
Yeah.
again, if you are watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube, excuse me, we'll link all those articles down
Yeah.
below.
We'll put all.
and
the
I'm going
shit
to
we
take
got.
a quick moment to just invite you, our listeners, to, we're all into weird shit. If you have a topic you're interested in, you think we've read about something or whatever, or have a recommendation that you just want to further look into yourself, maybe based off of stuff we've talked about in previous episodes, or stuff that could turn into future episodes that we just hijack your idea for, and we'll thank you for it. But since we're a not profit generating business, insofar we can't give you a cut that way, and won't anyway. But but no, I mean, hit us up. We'd love to get some interaction from you guys.
We love you. You get
And,
nothing.
Yeah, so I mean, if you do want to shoot out a topic our way, we always give credit where credit is due, and we won't. There's no reason for us to not do that.
Right.
We do want to make
And
mention
we
to
always
anyone who
take
does
credit
help
where
us.
credit's available.
Yes.
Exactly.
When no one's claiming it, we'll take the credit.
Right.
Okay?
and not pay credit back when it's available as well.
We got bills to pay.
We'll
man.
pay you in appreciation.
Yeah.
If you give me $1 today, I'll give you two
Appreciation
on Tuesday.
dollars.
I'll thank you later. What a pal.
You'll
know
get
what?
you'll get a whole bunch of MoQuest bucks.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
recompense
shit.
is in the satisfaction from doing a good thing.
I mean,
Shut up,
yes. Yes, very good. Very
Dumb
good.
bitch.
Fuck off.
MoQuest. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the main topic of the evening, and that is the Lechuza. And before we get into it,
Lechuza.
the Lechuza, man. Everyone here is familiar,
I could
very
go for a
basically
Subway
with.
now all of a sudden.
Everyone here is
That sounds really
familiar
good.
with the basic knowledge of the Lechuza. I mean, growing up in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yep.
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 All the good shit.
If you look at the ear of an owl, you can see its eyes. Or the
Do
back
they
of its
have?
eyes.
I
Did not know
mean,
that.
Roland, speaking to the fucking mic.
That's creepy.
do they? So like, I was
There
just
you
I was
go.
just thinking about earlier how we were talking about that one douche nozzle that had the bit about the Bigfoot erotica. Do they have
Is that Chadwick?
Yeah, the Chadwick.
Lechuza erotica.
Yeah.
The
You
Chad.
know, what kind of cryptozoology?
The
Is there
Chadwick.
like a Pornhub category on there or some shit for
It's called bestiality.
cryptids?
Roland.
bestiality? Crypto
They
bestiality.
call it dog man.
I don't know,
they say
man.
dog man sex, but that's just German Shepherd, man.
Oh,
Get some
you
of
know,
that-
Ray.
that-
There's another, untapped
yeah.
mine there, man.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, don't know.
Shit, we could protect cryptid sex workers.
Yeah.
I did float the idea of a Bigfoot escort service to Ray at one point. I mean,
Yes.
maybe
Someone's into it, right?
somebody.
There's money to be made anywhere. Right?
Bigfoot's got to get laid. I don't know.
Ray, we'll hire a lady. We'll get you dressed up in a Bigfoot costume, and here you go, man.
Wait, who's the tallest one here?
Well, that's Daniel. Hey, and he's in Washington, so it's more credible.
Depending on the percentage cut y'all are wanting to take for being in my pimp, I don't know. Might make more money than doing what I'm doing now. And it seems a lot less stressful.
Oh, yeah.
Be a lot more grateful.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to fuck a Bigfoot?
Well, now you can.
Does anyone have like a checkered sports coat?
And what's cool is I just need a mask and like some like sleeves that are hairy because I got the rest down pat, yo. Like, this would be a cheap fucking costume endeavor.
Have you ever masturbated to Harry and the Hendersons?
Well,
Now's your chance to get up close and personal
you
with
haven't lived, my friend.
Sasquatch.
Right.
We're gonna delve deep into this whole MoQuest law thing.
Oh yeah.
Make sure.
I'm-
Yeah.
It'll be in there. We've got it
My mind
covered.
is reeling in the background about this shit. Like holy crap.
The potential.
Could definitely be a book written on it, man. I mean, get that published, Ray.
We can write that fucking book.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man.
Right.
Yeah.
Go on Amazon, do a search first, make sure no one else is writing it. You know.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
law.
probably a good idea,
Fuck 'em.
but
We'll do a better job.
Fuck it. There's been more than one book written on Kennedy, so we got a shot.
yeah. Well, that's true.
The bullet went, stopped, turned around, hit him in the head. How many times has that been written? That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for the inspiration. We're gonna
now
get to
it's
it.
talk. Now it's time to talk about if Bigfoot did that shit.
Listen, Way of Drunken Chicken presents.
Bigfoot was in Dallas
Yeah.
on the day that Kennedy
Cryptid
was
law.
shot. You think that was a human being in the grassy knoll? I don't think so, buddy. That was Sasquatch all the way.
Why do you think no one could identify him?
That was a Sasquatch.
There wasn't even a
rifle.
fucking, he was like 5'10" Italian, nothing. Like, they just thought they saw
It was
somebody.
the Sasquatchian candidate.
Nah, man, the babushka lady on the knoll. Nah, man,
That's another
fucking
shirt
Mothman
idea,
right there.
actually. That's great. Oh,
was a
I
plant.
like that a lot.
So okay.
That's fucking delicious, actually. God damn.
So la
Roland.
Lechuza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Before we
I'm
actually
done.
before we get into actually the Lechuza, again, we're gonna go through a brief history of like owls and stuff like that because that is what the Lechuza
Right.
is basically in Spanish. The Lechuza.
Yes, that's.
And just point of order, I'll go ahead and take all that Bulls article shit. Just,
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
I wasn't sure we were going to break it up. We didn't talk about it beforehand, but yeah, I read that article a couple times, and there's also something I didn't write in here that I want to include that I thought about at the bar earlier.
So, how do you want to? Where did you want to start off with? Is the history of the
the history
owl
of-
iconography,
Just
or
of the
like
owl itself.
Just the
man.
history of
Okay.
the owl itself.
So I mean, it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, owls are everywhere.
So starting back
I mean,
with the
nocturnal
dinosaur
creatures.
known as
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So-
You go through the phylogeny and shit. Like,
there is the
Right.
pterodactyl.
Yeah.
And Charles Linnaeus
We also
thought
known as
about
the
this
bald
creature
owl.
very carefully when he classified it.
A lot of the history of the owl, I did take from an article called "Aliens Among Us." This is a brief history of the owl, and they mention in here. Of course, we know that owls are nocturnal creatures.
Most of them, for the most part.
Most of
yes.
them are,
Yeah.
and most of them. I mean, anyone that gets freaked out by an owl is normally seen in the evening or the night.
Right. Yeah.
Nighttime.
Because you can't really tell, and they're fucking huge. So I've got a bit of information about.
The
I
owls?
guess. Yeah. About
Right.
like.
No, you said this is an article from you. What is it?
Like owls is you're talking about the
Literary hub.
Literary hub. Okay, so this goes like over like the animal itself, just general
Very
history.
very
Right.
basic.
It's general. It's
overview of the owl
symbolism
itself, yeah.
within.
Yeah, basically the owl in literature and lore, and like an overview. That's probably the best way to describe this article.
Roland, do you want to give us a little brief overview of the history of the owl?
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, like just it's symbolism within various cultures, and that includes, well, for the most part, like what we're interested in concerning La Lechuza, that primarily sticks to the North American fucking continent. It has, like we said before, they're fucking owls are all over the place. So they're found in Eastern civilization, but they have for the most part, they have different associations, but similar meanings that we have over here. Over in fucking Europe, in like Mesopotamia, in fucking Sumerian cultures, for the most part, they're associated with death and sickness. The ancient Greeks, they believed that owls were a sign of wisdom. They were a sign of impending victory, and they associated them with the Greek goddess Athena. The Romans, on the like complete opposing side to that, obviously they had their version of Athena, which was Minerva, but they associate with the exact opposite. They believed that it was an impending defeat. It was an omen of death, a symbol of disaster. Generally, they believed that to ward off that particular omen, they'd have to kill the owl and nail it to the door of the affected house. Dreams of owls, they were associated with shipwrecks or robbery. So it's sort of an interesting contrast because the Romans absorbed the Greeks into their culture, and so it's just funny that they sort of took a complete opposite viewpoint from that. Christianity, for the most part, associated them with the devil, with paganism, because that was just sort of a way for them to subjugate other cultures and bring them into their own monotheism, as opposed to the belief in a pantheon of gods or deities. So they associated with witchcraft. They associated them to summoning the devil, or devil related activities, that sort of bit. Let's see, what did I have here? For the most part, they were the prevailing. They had the prevailing beliefs. Before them, though, the Sumerians had, and Ray, you'd asked me about this before. They had what was called Abkalu or Abgal, and those were winged humanoid demigods. So like, there's a lot of similar sort of.
I had asked you if, like, in the Sumerian text or culture, whatever,
right?
That was there like a story of the Lilith character?
Yes,
and where she's the winged woman, first
yeah,
wife of Adam,
right,
and she
yes.
has like the
Oh,
talons
that's
of fucking
like-
owl and
yes,
stuff.
yes.
Biblical lore
Right.
connection.
So-
But like Lilith and Ishtar, Diana, Athena, they're all like the same figure or
Right.
whatever. So I threw a little note into the Google Doc, Ray, for you to maybe think about, just because it's kind of fun. Could come up later in a future episode.
But just going in back to like similar mythological analogs that other cultures had to, and this isn't particularly specific to owls, but just winged deities or winged demigods, those sorts of things. The the Mesopotamians, they had Pazuzu, who was a human with a dog's face and wings. Ray had posted something
Not
about
a good guy.
No, absolute
Exorcist.
piece of shit. Yep. That's what he was made popular by. Yeah, but he goes back as into the Mesopotamians. You posted something about the harpies, that which Greek mythology. They had the body of a vulture and an eagle, the face of an ugo. That is to say, a hideous crone, an ugly. Don't want to fuck that. Hindu.
Although I'd say modern depictions of them make them pretty sexy looking.
Yeah, those fucking animu waifu furry motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Hindu Buddhists had the Garuda, which was a man-like being with enormous wings. The Japanese had the Tengu, which was sort of like I think it was like a half raven, half man, sort of winged humanoid. I don't quite remember.
But Roland, the Garuda though, necessarily considered like an evil entity though, because wasn't
I don't think it was.
didn't
I think it was like one of their.
wasn't Ganesh or Vishnu? One of them would ride it, wouldn't it, or something like that?
I think so, yeah, because I think Ganesh was the elephant, the six.
Wait, weren't they busy on those like
six-armed
sky
elephant.
boat things? So
Oh yeah. So that
also
was
lore?
yeah.
So
absolutely.
they're also like taming beasts to ride. That's pretty dope.
The Mayans had the Kamasots, which was I'm probably butchering that word, but those were like great like winged bat sort of humanoids.
Don't worry, Roland. I've got all sorts of Maya, Yucatec Maya,
Perfect.
and Nawats to fuck up. In a bit, so.
Yeah. I stopped with those guys because I was like, there's so much shit here. Like, I just wanted to keep it kind of basic with these dudes. The Aztecs generally believed that owls were messengers and companions of their death gods. So the hold on a sec here. Okay, so like just going back or bringing it back to the sort of closer parallels to La Lechuza over in the North American region, we have like a lot of the Native Americans and their beliefs with owls, and they were very similar to the Europeans. Even though when the Americas were colonized, like they got absorbed into the greater, quote unquote, greater Catholic belief system. But so like the Native Americans here, they thought it was they believed that the owls were the souls of the recently departed. They were spiritual guides. They were, again, omens of death, messengers, or almost like a ferryman of death. But they also believed they were bringers of sickness. So, for example, the Hopi Indians, they had their Kachina, spiritual or supernatural beings. One of them was named Mongwa. He was a great horned owl, and he symbolized intelligence and wisdom. I believe he was like their straight edge lawman kind of guy. He went in there and just
Steven Seagal.
bird lawman. I read that there was another clan. I'm not sure if this was a clan or if this was an actual deity itself, but they believed like the burrowing owl represented their god of the dead. I tried to look this up a bit, and
Wasn't that the Hopi?
right. No, I'm still talking about the Hopi.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
it's all good. So the closest thing I could find to that was that there was a burrowing owl clan. I wrote the name down, but I couldn't find it, and it's hard to pronounce. But I'm not too sure about that particular factoid. But so like there was the Cherokee that had the word for witch or great the word they used for witch, the word they used for great horned owl were the same things, and that was skili. And it was evil ghosts and witches that foretold of death and defeat. The Seminoles had stikini, which was the evil witches that transformed by night. They vomited up their souls and internal organs, becoming undead owl monsters that fed on human hearts. To some, they used them as boogeymen. You know, it was just another like kukui, another like la llorona, behave yourself or they're going to drag you down to hell kind of fables. And for others, they believed that to speak of them was to risk becoming them. So, like, a lot of those stories were only passed down by particular medicine men within the tribe. It was very selective on who and who they spoke to and who they heard spoke or passed those stories from. The Apache, they had the big owl, which was another like version of their own boogeyman. The early they believed it was an early adversary of the war twins.
And you said that was the Apache?
No. So the one I was talking about before, the Stikini,
Yeah.
that was the Seminole.
Okay.
This one right now, the big owl, that's the Apache. And so that was just another boogeyman sort of story, and or also one of theirs one of their great adversaries. I assume it's just like a parallel to like the devil or to
Right.
like any other fucking demon kind of we can think of there. So Yeah, like throughout history, there is just mention all sorts of fucking symbolism associated to owls and or sort of exposition related to how they tie into their greater belief systems and mythology. And that's what I got so far. I didn't go into too much with the Aztecs and the Maya because there's just a whole ton of shit. And you said, Daniel, you had some bits, so
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and let
so,
you take it on there if you don't mind.
First off, we'd like to thank you for your dissertation proposal defense. But the first question I would like to ask is, how is your discussion of the owl's prevalence in mythology and lore throughout the world going to help move the field of studying the phenomena of the Lechuza forward?
So I was mostly, God damn it! How fuck you? You really want fuck you? I'll answer your bitch ass question. All right, and it's as simply going of like the history of it and its origins and parallels within like multiple cultures. All right,
And
you want to start any of your fucking dissertation bullshit? You have to go with the goddamn history, and you know this, you fucking asshole.
As you were saying this, Roland, I mean,
The dissertation is not a lit review.
Fuck you.
all the things that all the characteristics of the owls that you, or like the birds that you talked about, like you'll see coming up in the
There was
characteristics of the
one
Lechuza.
bit I fucking read about some particular fucking tribe that in North America that believes the ridges, the bony ridges around the owl's eyes represented the fingernails of fucking ghosts. All right, like there's got some interesting goddamn
Man,
things.
That just sounds like some white explorer's account. Like,
You can break down like probably every inch of the owl.
they have all
and
sorts of
something,
kooky beliefs.
White explorer.
Daniel, you had something to add?
I do, and it's more. So, Roll's bit was mostly just outlining some of or laying out a bunch of the various examples of like owls and their ubiquity worldwide. So. I'm going to try to bring it a little bit closer into the realm of Lechuza and go into some ancient Mesoamerican context. And also, I have some Andean examples as well, or one example, I think. So here comes into a bunch of linguistics bullshit. Not a whole lot, but just words that are hard to pronounce because they're in a language that I don't fucking know. But this... all of this was pulled by an article that was basically a blog post written by an academic out of the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, David Bowles. His content has been discussed a little bit on a previous episode of Valley Strange. I believe that was the school hauntings or whatever episode
I
that was.
So, yeah.
We'll probably bring him in
Or just like haunted places. I remember listening to one where y'all were talking about like some of the ghosts that are supposed to be at the Brownsville campus that he wrote about, I believe. So anyway, all this shit is stuff that he synthesized, and this is just a further synthesization of his bullshit. So depictions of shapeshifters fucking go way back.
Oh yeah.
He cites the Olmec that depicted were-jaguars, and the Olmecs fucked around from about 2500 to 400 BC.
Right.
Now let's go ahead and list out before I go into all of the other Mesoamerican context, I'll just go ahead and list out the potential for iconography that lines up temporally with the Olmec stuff, but in the highlands of northern Peru at the site of Chivin de Huántar, because you do have iconography that depicts shamans with like feline features. There are various birds that are depicted. Some of them are going to be harpies in their own rights. And so you have like some neat, just all around the world, there's more examples of just like, this owl or bird, and shape-shifting phenomenon. And I tried to look up, the connections for the Andean example I thought of, but I just ran into some blog post by some pretentious former anthropologist that was just atrocious. I tried to finish it, guys, but not even beer can carry me through.
I'm glad that you say that because I
tried.
Was reading it, and I think I got about maybe 3/4 of the way, and it was hard because I had to go back, and I was like,
It's just
It,
such
it
a
was just
piece of shit.
the pretentiousness of the fucking article in the very beginning was just hard
Just bitching
to
about
just get
how
through.
their
And
life was so
I fucking
difficult.
passed out with the fucking phone on my chest reading that shit. So I couldn't go through it.
It was
But
frustrating.
we'll go back to Mesoamerica, Mexico, or modern day Mexico specifically, to talk about the Nahuatl speaking groups. So that's like the Aztec, Toltecs, and some of the other ones in antiquity and at contact. They refer to shape-shifting witches as Mokupani, which means one who transforms. And there are subtypes of Nahuatl speaking folks that have the same words for it, or different words, like fucking this up, but going back to owls specifically as shape-shifting, or people that can shape-shift into owls specifically, the word in Nahuatl is chichli for owl, which gives us chichli mokupa. So that's like owl sorcerer, owl mage, whatever, that uses chichiyotl, which is a witch owl sorcery. Then you have the Yucatec Maya, which have the Wayum Chiich. And there's a linguistic tie between Chiich and Chichli. So he suggests there's like a borrow word context. But once again, you have all these fucking words that talk about like owl sorcery, shape-shifting people. It's fucking fascinating. But also we have kind of quote-unquote modern European accounts of this phenomenon where in the Florentine Codex, there's a discussion of a shapeshifter that involved them being able to turn not only just into an owl, but it was a bird, a screech owl, or a horned owl. So perhaps these shapeshifters could assume different kinds of bird forms for whatever intents and purposes. Then there's other conquest era examples of shapeshifters. There's the Nahuali in the Aztec world, which if you think like Navajo skinwalkers,
Right.
that's like a strict analog. And one thing I was thinking about was these tales of this in the Southwest. There are thoughts that maybe folks like from modern day Mexico migrated to the American Southwest at one point. So perhaps that's how some of the tales spread. Potentially, I don't know how old these tales are in these regions specifically, as far as like some of the U.S. examples. I mean, I was just a valley boy that grew up with like, hear about Lechuzas and shit, and
Right.
but these Nahuali guys were fucking rad because these were high-ranking sorcerers that worked for the state, and allegedly Montezuma fucking sent these guys out to go fight the fucking Spaniards.
Oh shit.
And they're also, not only could they like shapeshift, but they knew a bunch of hidden lore, learn how to cast spells, control the weather, and of course use hallucinogens for divining fates and entering dreams. You see drug use and shamanism ubiquitously throughout the world. At Chivita Wantar, where they have the depictions of potentially shape-shifting entities or just hybrid entities. There's evidence of fucking, coke there,
Oh, right, yeah. Specifically the fucking
And,
coca leaf. Yeah.
Yeah, and other hallucinogens and other like paraphernalia for like snorting coca and shit. Like it's fucking rad. But so there's those dudes. And then there was another branch. It might have been the same dudes, but not even going to try to pronounce the fucking word. It's a Nahuatl word that translates into human great horned owl. And these dudes you could transform into Tecolotl or something like that, which is a species of owl called Bubo virgianus. They could do turkeys, vultures, and dogs. What's cool about these guys, though, they could do all the shit that Nahuali did, but also fucking have blood magic or fucking blood magic. And then the last fucking group I'll talk about in this long discussion of just some of these roots before we go into some of the other long winded bullshit about some of the other versions of this in lore, is from the Yucatec Maya area. It's pronounced Y, but it's W-A-Y. They're like the Nawali shapeshifters, but they were identified by what they could transform into. So you had a Y Balam, so they're like a jaguar sorcerer. Y Shamak is a fox. Y Peck, a dog, and then a Y Mistun is a wildcat. So not only are these fuckers, or we're just talking about the owl, but there's a whole thing about shapeshifters where even in these Mesoamerican contexts where we really mostly hear about like Lechuza bullshit.
Right.
But apparently there were mages that could fucking turn into fucking dogs and wildcats and all sorts of other shit. And
as far as I could find,
I think that'd be cool to talk about in another episode.
Would that be considered like werewolves or dogmen? We just talked about
like, maybe like a dogman, But then like are they like are the sorcerers that could basically morph into dogs like evil people to begin with, or were they? Yeah.
Well,
that's where
because if dogmen are like inherently bad, and if a shaman can only turn into a dog, are they associated with like the dark arts or whatever? Like
that's
is that
where
how we get the Voldemorts and stuff? And I don't care if you're a Y Peck, a Y Mishtun, a Y Shamak, or a Y Balam. We will fucking defend you. Even we can't pronounce what the fuck you are.
I was gonna say like those all go.
We're
before,
inclusive here at MoQuest Law.
Good. I'm gonna change the background on this computer from MoQuest Studios to MoQuest Law, man. Just to fucking.
So like everything that Daniel was talking about was like pre-conquest, America's being settled.
With the exception of that one like case in the Florentine Codex where there was like a Spaniard.
Right.
These are primarily like native
bullshit.
cultures, like before the arrival
before
of the
Christopher
Spaniards
Columbus came and fucking turned everybody into slaves.
You mean discovered America?
Yeah, that's exactly what I didn't mean. That I could find the Lechuza stories were they originated around the 1700s.
Really?
So.
I was trying to figure out like an origin of when they started kind of popping up.
Yeah,
primarily. So 1700s.
And one thing you brought up in that article, Roland, that you were talking about that I just wanted to touch on just briefly, just that whole potentially psychological like control element, that social control element of these folk tales of like Lechuza, La Llorona, other urban legends of sorts or real things, depending how you sit on the subject.
Sure.
But for our listeners, there's a whole bunch of shit out there. It might be behind a paywall, but find somebody going to a local like junior college or something. Just ask for their JSTOR access.
Actually, JSTOR is actually I had an article from
now.
JSTOR, but it's only like a limited. Like you can only see so many articles or something. 100 articles at a time.
JSTOR is a good source, though.
It is. For sure. You can find tons of shit.
Could get access
right
to
now.
it.
You've got the.
Yeah, it would be. It would help us a lot, actually.
You've got that COVID membership or whatever they've got going right now, so it's free.
But there's a psychologist, Alan Dundes, who has written extensively about like the relation of urban legends and social control and that sort of bullshit. And it's kind of from a Freudian lens, so a lot of it's penis iconography comes up every once in a while, blah blah blah. But it's just kind of a cool take on it from a complete like empirical perspective. That instead of just going, oh, these are bullshit, these are the function of these tales in society and policing the young.
Right. Yeah. Just like another one of those.
But that's it. Just so like. And later when we actually talk about some of the stuff that Lechuza is reputed to do, that'll maybe make a little more sense.
No, absolutely.
So
like a lot of the things that you were talking about, the medicine men, the shamans.
And I say that in the Lechuza sense because when we're going to talk about the Lechuza, there aren't very many I guess, factoids about it. I mean, it's just kind of like a
No.
compilation of what everyone
Right.
describes
Yeah.
and what everyone thinks this bird is or what it does or its intentions.
They're
you know?
mostly just official descriptions of
Yeah,
the
they're
Lechuza,
pretty
and
much
then,
oral accounts
and
of
then,
like.
and then lore and legends or
Yeah.
whatever, which goes back into again of like how again they mentioned the societal control
Right.
or using that as a fucking as a device for it. Yeah.
Okay. So I caught myself doing that shit again. So you talked about some of the bird star culture and all those kinds of things. The other birds or type of figures we're gonna just briefly discuss is like the thunderbirds, and I
Right.
believe that is from the oh shit, I forgot what.
Pacific Northwest, where I'm at.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sorry. And for that, again, hold on, let me get this fucking article here.
Oh, I see that. I just saw the name here that described the Yucatec Maya bird mage.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before. That's a fucking mouthful.
The human great horned owl. Yeah.
Wyoming Cheech. Shit.
Speaking of the thunderbird,
Scroll down and look at the human great horned owl one. Sorry, Ray.
that's right.
Just you can cut that.
Speaking of the thunderbird, it says the
Christ.
thunderbird is a mythological character that appears in many Native American legends, like Daniel said, in the Pacific Northwest area. From numerous stories of the thunderbird, it is often assumed that the thunderbird is a protector, though at times this creature can be forced to punish those of low moral integrity. And if we go through the Lechuza, I mean, it seems that the Lechuza, there's points in time where it's trying to punish those who are bad. And again, going back to the whole control thing.
There are a number of versions of the Lechuza and how it ties in or is used again as a plot for controlling the populace. Specifically, that one. And that also actually parallels again with Llorona, which is another one that they just use. It's a boogeyman that is
Boogie
meant
baby.
to
Stay away from water.
yeah, stay away from the water, behave, eat your peas, and maybe you'll get your pudding, kind of stuff.
Just going back on the thunderbird, before we
Right.
get too deep into the Lechuza, which we will do in just a minute. I don't think in the, I guess the Native American lore regarding the thunderbird, no one's necessarily seen this. It's just kind of like a.
No, but
They say like it has to do with like it brings
They've
in the
tried.
storms and stuff.
Right.
Storms, yeah. It flaps
Yeah.
his wing,
Yeah.
and that's how the thunder is
And a
created
small
and
section
stuff.
of pseudoscientists believe that the thunderbird could have been a pterodactyl that managed to survive longer than thought possible, or another form of
get
megafauna.
the fuck out of here.
Well, Ray, wasn't there accounts of that shit happening in the valley?
Oh, the
Oh my
thunderbird.
God, no, sort of, but like just a giant bird. It was like early 1905 or something like that. But
Really?
I remember it was something about like in the valley, and I don't know if it was like Raymondville. I can't remember what city it was, but there was supposedly an account by a man, like they lived out in the sticks, and that a giant bird actually like came and picked up his child or whatever. I don't know if did you ever hear about that, Ray?
I did not know.
No, that's cool.
I figured that would have just pretty much
And
fallen.
I think it was in like one of the local.
Lechuza account, because that's pretty much what
yeah, that's
the Lechuza does,
one of the things.
or one of the things it does.
Yeah, takes
Yeah.
your kids.
I think it was in like a local newspaper or something. I gotta see if I can find it, but
Sure,
it was like a long ass time ago.
sure.
One of the Roland, you did mention the harpy, which is the Greek
Right.
mythology,
That's
and then
Greek mythology.
Daniel, you did mention the skinwalkers of the Navajo
The
tribe.
Navajo.
Skinwalkers would be a good topic, just saying, for...
They're fucking interesting, dude.
It really is.
There's a lot of shit to talk about there.
The one last thing I wanted to it's not necessarily an owl, but it's a flying humanoid. It is the Mothman, and that is kind of like a bright red eyes. It comes at night. An account of a whole town, like a mass sighting. A lot of things went wrong in Point Pleasant, which we'll talk about in depth whenever we do our Books of the Strange.
Stars in a movie across Richard Gere.
fantastic movie. No, it's all right.
That's all right. Yeah, no. What's wrong with you? There you go.
But the book is by John Keel, I believe.
Yeah.
The Mothman Prophecies.
John
We'll get
Keel.
into that more in depth, like I said. But we're just kind of like mentioning certain types of lore that kind of have some sort of parallel with the Lechuza again, and it all depends
Right.
on like a certain region of the world or the United States, and that's why we're bringing it back to the Rio Grande Valley,
Right.
South Texas, and Mexico area, that where the Lechuza primarily
South Texas
thrives.
being our area, the Rio Grande Valley, and south of San Antonio, or roughly around
Yeah.
that region. And
Some people don't even believe that San Antonio, like you go further down and there's
that
more
there's
town.
more. Yeah, they just think the fucking Texas cuts off and then it's Mexico. Right,
Yeah, pretty
right
much,
down
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of people consider San Antonio to be South Texas.
Exactly,
Like this,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's Central
Oh,
Texas.
I railed
everyone.
on people
It's
when I lived there all the time
central
about
at
that. I was
best.
like, no, this is Central Texas.
You morons.
And they're like, no. And it's like, Austin, just because it is
So-
geographically like the center of Texas, does
Yeah.
not make just Austin and its feeder cities Central Texas and
Yeah.
everything else north and south,
what
east,
is-
west.
what is the
That's
valley?
stupid.
Double South Texas, South plus Texas. Like, fuck off.
They're trying
man.
to school the Texan on how
Wait,
Texas
the border wall didn't
is.
like cut that off already?
It's not. It's not South Texas plus. It's like
Was it not
negative
supposed to be
Texas
a wall
plus.
there?
Right, yeah.
Negative Texas.
Idiots.
Okay, so we're gonna go into a bit of the description of the Lechuza, our main
Not
topic
you.
here.
So,
Whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
do you want to start with the description of it, or like the different versions of it that are talked about?
I'll go with the descriptions, and then we
Okay.
can talk about like the different versions of
Okay.
it.
So, what do you got, Ray?
So basically, for those of you listening and those of you familiar with the Lechuza, some of these descriptions may sound pretty familiar. Again, if you are
Sure.
familiar with the lore of it. Just a list of these things. It says, again, these are according to eyewitness accounts, and this kind of goes across the board. Many accounts pretty much describe the exact same thing.
Right.
And it's a bird. It's an owl that ranges up to 7 feet with a 15-foot wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's black or white. I've only heard of a white one, but they say
So-
the black one is
Yeah.
like a big raven.
Yeah.
The white one is the
It's like
owl.
a raven. Yeah.
I've never heard of the raven thing.
I've only heard of of the white Lechuza, and whenever
Same
I've seen
here.
the big ass like barn owls in the valley, and like
Yep.
the one time I had an owl like swoop by my windshield and spook me in the middle of the night. I didn't go, oh no, a witch. I was like, big ass fucking owl. Oh wait, that's a white owl.
Ay,
oh,
Dios
Lechuza.
mío.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now I'm terrified.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking hit that. Like,
Once I catch up, like,
And another description says it has the face of a woman or otherworldly features with
Right.
almond-shaped eyes.
right.
Again, that
Like
kind
a
of is like
Almond-shaped
alien,
black eyes, like a
Almond-shaped
gray,
black eyes.
like a gray,
like a gray alien.
Yeah. or bright
with
red.
somniferous almond eyes, like
Yeah, it says or bright red, which kind of like
Yeah.
again, the Mothman.
Mothman
That has a
yeah,
characteristic of that.
Has that.
It's primarily seen at night.
Right.
And on one of the articles,
owls are wanting to do. For the
yeah,
most part.
exactly. Yeah.
Except, hey, Roll, did you ever see those little cool desert owls in Peru, though? The ones that like just chilled out in like the little, like,
No.
either they would like burrow into the adobe architecture of sites or they would just be there on the hillsides. But yeah,
No,
they're like totally owls that just
That's fucking
hang out
cool.
during the day. I thought it was so fucking bizarre.
No, I never saw any of those little fuckers. That sounds cool though. So I've seen
Those are
videos
mini
of them.
Lechuzas.
I've never,
Yeah.
not when I was there though.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of like you say the mini ones, like the
So-
small ones are like the harpies because the harpies are like small
it
people.
varies.
I mean,
yeah.
maybe
It
people
varies.
thought about
I mean,
those.
like these owls are
speaking
probably
of-
like, yay big,
Right.
Yeah, but it says
The-
that the harpy is supposed to be fairly small owls.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 feet, kind of tall. I mean, with
3 or
the
4 feet.
well, like again,
That's still
having,
kind of
having,
a smaller bird of prey, considering
Yeah,
like some
sure.
eagles and other like
oh my god, they're huge motherfuckers. So like you were
and
saying,
Lechuzas themselves. I mean, they're fucking massive.
Ray was saying exactly though, like to that story, I'd heard the opposite to that, like how you mentioned they're 6 to 7 feet tall with
Yeah.
a 15-foot wingspan. So I'd read the opposite in saying that some of them were 2-3 feet tall, just small little girls or whatever, because that's the other thing. They're always women with the face of a woman or the face of an old crone as well.
And Uggo, as Roland would say.
Yes. or even a Vuggo almost. Who knows? So I was mentioning to Ray though, like how we mentioned that like all of the Lechuzas are primarily sighted in South Texas, Mexico, South America regions. I did find one story citing that there was one apparently reported in Chicago.
You know, when you said that, Roland, I was going to ask you if it was
the Mothman.
No, it was mentioned what the ethnicity of the person who was reporting the story.
No, nothing like that. But I mean,
because I mean, you could say like
if it was on the
Chicago
south side of
is full of
Chicago,
Chicanos, you know, like I don't know.
You go, like, it was in the south side of Chicago, and you go like,
was,
where are you from? South Texas. Oh shit.
This one was very specific on the date and the location.
Well,
they
first
did
they
mention
probably think you're INS, they lie and say Detroit, and then
they did
that's
mention.
fucked up, but
they did
I mean,
mention
like,
that,
hey, this is America.
they did talk about how like particularly for the most part they're more accustomed to the Mothman reportings than this. But they did they were very specific. It happened on April 16th, 2017 in Humboldt Park. Like Humboldt. I mean, okay, sure. But they did mention specifically that it was a humanoid owl. It's just this giant 6-foot fucking bird on standing up.
I like how like whenever someone reports seeing a Lechuza, they automatically know the exact
what
footage.
they're talking about.
Well, the exact footage of the thing, like that shit was like 6 foot tall. I'm like, shit, you were there. You brought out the fucking measuring tape.
you know,
Measured the fucker, you know.
Got the surveying equipment.
They're the
Oh,
type of
that's
people
a-
that
that's a-
always guess right and how many jelly beans are in the jar and stuff like that.
6 foot, 10.5 inches, and
Man,
he had like
I want to get him to guess how many jelly beans are in the jar and shit.
like a
Like-
75-degree hunch. So yeah, like there was one supposed reported sighting in Chicago, which I just thought was fun to mention. But
Yeah,
primarily they're not,
Because in
anywhere
the articles that
They're
we
not
read,
found in
like
the
they
north.
specifically said that the sightings are primarily in Mexico and South
Right.
Texas.
Yeah.
And again,
Well,
that's
what I
and
find
it says the Rio
intriguing
Grande
is
Valley,
that
too.
there are. So you said, Roll, that there are usually Mothman sightings. that are
Right.
reported
Yes, they
in
did mention
Chi-town?
specifically that like Point Pleasant is, not too far from there. I'm not sure on my geography, but
Yeah, I was trying to determine where Point Pleasant is.
they-
That's for the Mothman.
Because
right?
isn't
Right, yes.
the Mothman from like out east generally?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And I'm not even gonna bother to look for it because even though I have my phone, I'm not gonna find out
Nah,
what Point
I don't
Pleasant
fucking
is.
care. Like the whole point is that like they do mention that
Point place wannabe.
it was odd because it wasn't the fucking Mothman apparently, which is what they sort of expected.
Disappointed in like
Right?
fear.
Like,
Like,
it's that witch
this-
bitch.
this-
Get
Oh,
outta
it's a
here.
different supernatural figure. Fuck that.
Boo, Lechuza. Where's the Mothman?
man, I wanted the Mothman
Fuck
to
you.
look at me from a distance with those red
I
ass
wanted
eyes.
to take a selfie with Indrid Cole.
I wanted to.
and
I wanted to
you-
meet Richard Gere.
Yeah,
What's this bird woman bullshit?
this is bullshit.
Say, go back in the kitchen, Owl, and make me a fucking sandwich.
You're in the wrong place, bitch. This ain't Mexico.
Go back to your own country.
We like moths here, not fucking birds.
Yeah. Fuck you.
This is where MoQuest Law comes
Chicago's
in.
all
Don't
country,
worry,
moth
Lechuza.
country, moth
We're here to represent you.
I remember
But yes,
Detroit
besides
used to
all that,
build
thank you,
great moth
Jerry.
statues back in the day.
MoQuest Law is here
if
to
you're a
represent the Mothman
misunderstood
as well.
migrating Lechuza, we will not let you we will not let them put you on the bus. You will not be separated from your children in detention centers. We will see to that at MoQuest Law. Justice for everyone. Everything. Shit. There you go. Everything. There you go. Yeah.
Visa revoked?
And-
Contact us.
Oh, wait. Legal disclaimer.
Eh.
Just because we defend everything, we do not deny the personhood of cryptids or cryptid-like beings.
That's already an ad forming. I like it.
Yeah, man. You got to make sure you mention this in the post description, Roland.
Okay.
MoQuest law. And
So back to the description of the boyd, right?
we stopped at the mention of where
I
it primarily
I did
is
read that
located.
it also takes the form of an eagle as well.
An
Not
eagle?
necessarily.
Wait,
Lechuza?
the Mothman or Lechuza?
Yeah.
Lechuza.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know
I
about
didn't
that
read
one.
that. I didn't know about that.
I found one rando site that mentions white owl, black ravens, and eagles. And,
So that's how the Steve Miller song came about. All right. All right.
So they. Let's
Gotta go
see.
into
Fuck you
more
guys.
more description.
Moving on. Yeah.
One of the legends claims that the Lechuza was again their origin of the reason why the Lechuza is.
Oh, okay.
The legend
So we're
claims
going
that the
by
Lechuza was
versions
a
of
wronged
them.
woman seeking revenge.
Right.
It's a woman by day, an owl by night.
Right.
The other one was the woman's child was killed by villagers for a crime he did not commit, and she's
Right.
going to
So,
exact revenge
like I was
on
mentioned
them.
before, like a sort of Llorona.
Similar to later.
Yeah, I was
on.
saying, it sounds like a lot like Laria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, this other part. It
Both
says
white
a
figures,
woman's
too.
child was killed by a drunk driver. So this is more, I guess, recent. The owl waits outside bars, and he said,
No, I got
Right.
trampled by a horse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, real, that
Stagecoach.
was real
And-
recent.
and-
Like
and mention-
ran over by a wagon or some shit.
It was a. It was
The
a
wheel's been around
fucking-
for a while, Ray. There's
Yeah.
plenty
It was
of
a
options
Dodge
to run people
Magnum
over
with
that
a fucking
aren't
Hemi.
motorized.
Were they considered drunk drivers if they had and they were coming out from
Yeah.
like a bar? They were
Yeah.
riding a wagon and
Yeah.
shit.
So,
Drunk
like, I-
steerers, I think.
Yeah.
I
They
think that was
did-
illegal.
How
Drunk-
many
drunk coachman.
They didn't
how
have
many
mothers
reports
against
are
drunk
there
drivers
of
back
like
then.
drunk wagoneers?
Horse
like,
actually
I
be able to
mean-
handle that situation better than.
Well, no one specialized in that law either back then.
There was
That's
a
part of the
news
problem.
report of some
Well, if the horse
Amish
was
folks
drunk,
that
too.
like got drunk and drove their fucking horse cart,
So is it in the horse's fault?
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. That's what they fucking tried to tell
Was
the
the
cops
horse
when they
drunk?
got pulled over, because they were like, "Hey, you can't pull me over. I'm not like the horse is driving and he's sober, so we're good. Like, what's the problem, Poe? Like, officer."
Those were simpler
And then
times.
you fall off the saddle and they get clinched for fucking public intoxication.
Did the quote unquote cop back in the 1700s have to say like license and
Oh no, this
registration?
wasn't 1700s. This
This
was
was
like
1800s.
Let me
No,
see the
this
brand on
was
that
like-
there horse.
Was this,
like-
was this Abraham Lincoln?
no, this was like 2008 or some shit. No, they
Horse license?
some clever motherfuckers.
They say
alright.
within the Lechuza lore regarding the drunk drivers that the Lechuza perches itself outside of bars, waiting
Right.
for drunk patrons to
Right.
leave, and you know.
Apparently,
and actually,
there was a version of the,
What if it
fable
Ubers?
itself where it screams at them in Spanish. It calls them drunks and shit. Like,
Gerry mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's just
Gerry
the guy's
mentioned
wife when he
whether,
gets home, man.
the fucking,
What if
drunk
Lechuzas are like
Ubers-
patron saints of drunks at bars and they like
shit.
fly
Can't
to
get
guide
him.
them
He's
home?
being responsible.
Yeah, Lechuza like looks at the fucking person and they get like an Uber or fucking Lyft. And they're like,
All right.
it just like nods its head.
All right, man.
it
The
whistles
Lechuza
and they're
in
like,
modern day actually makes the Uber call and sets it up for the guy.
Whistle,
Uber
a
sponsored
whistle
by
of approval. Turns around, fucking Lechuza with the fucking feathers up.
You avoided death tonight.
And then it spins its head 270 degrees to wink at you.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. Woo. Ah, fuck that.
Okay, so again, it says
A witch is familiar.
which is
Right,
familiar.
that was another bit.
So
that,
basically, it's not a shape-shifting woman.
It's like
It basically,
it's like a black cat.
yeah, a
that,
black cat of a witch.
a witch. They train to go out and do their bidding, and
Right.
that's what they represent.
Okay, so well, we mentioned that the owl is actually a witch's familiar, and one of them says that it's a minion of Satan,
Right.
Mignon.
minion of Satan,
Filet mignon of Satan.
a minion of Satan. It says it preys on humans and negative emotions, and one of the articles made a comparison to a psychic vampire. So basically, it feeds
Sounds
off
like
the
my
negative
ex-wife.
energy. How well do you know your ex-wife, Bryce?
Well, Not very.
It's funny because it's topical.
And we mentioned that it waits for persons during domestic, or regarding the negative emotions, waits for persons during domestic disputes and children wandering in the dark.
Or it looks for.
So is it to go like give? Is it? But I bet that like Lechuza, like it actually doesn't go to like aid like the abused. It goes to like further abuse them or whatever. It's like to make sure they make that sandwich next time or whatever.
Maybe it's
That's what I was thinking too, man.
And then like we'll fly by the kids and tell them it was your fault. Your parents are getting a divorce.
It's to traumatize them so they can like band together and realize why they're still together.
It's the patron saint of the disgruntled husband.
It's a type of therapy.
It's right. It's
It's
doing this for us, right?
She knows what's best for your relationship.
Yeah.
So it also targets intoxicated
persons. We mentioned
persons,
the
right,
drunk waiting for the
So
drunkers.
just imagine this fucking giant white witch owl hanging out at a fucking AA meeting parking lot or whatever.
Well, they're sober. Why would they wait for them?
Just in case they fall off the wagon, it's the symbol of sobriety. They fucking see that and they're like, no, I'm gonna quit.
Maybe it's not bars. It's just waiting
Hey,
here
hold on,
at
man.
MoQuest Studios because we're always drinking
wait,
and it's nighttime.
Ray, the fucking Lechuza, it sounds like Batman, right? It's like fucking going around like beating up fucking
if we go with that,
it's the witch signal.
So like, what if it's like, what do you tell a woman with two black eyes? Nothing, because her husband and Lechuza already told her.
Right. Yeah.
Twice.
That's terrible.
Twice. She's been told.
Speaking of crying, it says makes a crying noise to lure a person outside to snatch them up.
The noise of
crying
a baby.
of a baby. Crying baby.
Or it whistles.
Yeah, it makes
Man,
a whistling
crying
sound.
noise. That shit wouldn't work nowadays, Ray. No one goes to people crying. Like they walk away from that shit.
They both cry. Like
Right, yeah, they
Yeah.
will. They will. And
Man, I want a band to come out like called like Whistling at Lechuzas or something. Like something. That should be our band actually. And actually we should go next time we're all together, we'll go just fucking around in South Texas, like talk to like people we knew in high school, whatever, like, can we just tool around your ranch for a little while?
I mean,
and just see if we find Lechuzas and whistle at them and see what happens.
Okay, so the whole whistling thing, is it that you whistle to get them away or whistle and they
Well, we'll
come?
talk about that in just a second, actually.
Because that's something that confuses
Hold
me.
on.
Is it kinda like
it goes back later down, yeah.
It's just cat
Oh,
calling.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Patron
Is it
saint of construction workers.
When I saw whistling, I was like, what kind of whistling is it?
Well, if it's here in South Texas, it's a whistle with a orale,
Right.
mija.
No.
Something like that.
What is that? The fucking
¿Cómo estás, Ruka?
no, the little like lip smacking sound. The like making kisses at them but not making kisses.
Oh, okay.
I can't replicate it, but yeah. Yeah. Totally demonetized.
Sponsored by MoQuest Law.
This was
you been
a joke
sexually
episode to show you the abuse that cryptids get in our modern media.
Have you been sexually harassed by Lechuza?
Okay. One of the ways to show that or to tell that a Lechuza has been at your place of residence or near you, it says it shows scratches on the windowsill or the door, and it's just to like let you know of its presence. Assuming that you heard the whistling or the crying outside,
Right.
That'll show that it's either trying to get inside to your house.
So speaking of the whistling, that's actually supposedly, allegedly, a way to summon them as well. If you hear them
if
whistling,
you whistle at them,
you whistle at them, it brings them. It's supposed
Yeah.
to get their attention. And another method apparently is that if you whistle 3 times at midnight,
Bloody Mary shows up, too?
Yeah, exactly.
Candyman.
Freddy
What
Cougar.
kind of whistle?
Right.
Well, you
we're
better
talking
not be a
about?
gleeful motherfucker out in the woods and shit, just whistling around. Cause
Fucking use.
exactly.
Yeah,
Mind
you
your
don't
own
know, the owl
business.
doesn't
and
know you're not looking
enjoying
at
life.
it. Its fucking head's going all over the place.
Having
Like,
so much fun.
from
What
my
if
perspective,
you drop a
whistling
whistle
at
beep
me.
pop mix? Mix. I mean,
I'm just a lumberjack trying to go to work.
Whistle, whistle, whistle.
enjoying my day, and then comes a Luchuza. Like
Shit.
Attempting to kill the Lechuza, it says, can have
Oh, right.
dire
So-
consequences if you are not successful.
To be noted that they are supposedly immune to bullets and possibly immortal. But it mentions that's one of the ways to kill them, with a shotgun or a fucking rifle.
But most of the people, a lot
Pretty
of
much
them,
Ash from the Evil
it's
Dead.
not often
Yeah.
that they do kill him, or like if they do kill him, it says that there's
Groovy.
a woman that appears.
Yeah,
right,
in
the next day.
I mean, you're dealing with a witch, so if you try to shoot it, I'm pretty sure you're gonna die.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you don't kill it, like supposedly,
Why are you assuming it's a demon?
you're
You
gonna
colonial
die.
bastard. That's the whole reason why it got a negative connotation, because the Catholic Church was like, that's witchcraft, burn them. And then so of course all shape-shifting mages are now women, because women are also demonized in the fucking Catholic Church. Like it's
Oh yeah,
it's
so,
just fucking demonization of women and Lechuzas, and I will not stand for it. And that's why I went into MoQuest or
that's
study
right.
law to help found the MoQuest law.
I knew this was going.
So
I was waiting for the punchline.
Everything
Pending my
reverts
bar
back to
passing,
Mocha's
I'm
law.
going to law
Cryptid civil
school,
rights.
and,
Yeah.
Yeah, cryptid civil rights.
hey man,
Hey, cryptid rights are human rights,
Do
right?
you-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bryce.
no, I was like, I mean, if somebody picks you to represent them in court, do you technically need the license? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it would be nice to be well versed in the
I
cryptid
see.
law. You know?
I see.
Cryptid bird law.
It says dreaming of the Lechuza means a family member will die.
Right.
Right.
It's an
Like,
omen.
And,
is that like a
accounts
sexy
claim-
dream, Ray? Is that kind of like a sexy dream? If you have
haven't
a
dreamed-
what happens if you have a
haven't
wet
dreamed of
dream?
any
Wet
owls.
dream
Kind of
about
dream, I guess.
Lechuza.
a wet dream with owls.
It says accounts claim that if a Lechuza is killed, again we talked about this just a second ago.
Yeah.
When the sun comes up, the body of a woman will be there and its replacement. And
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about protecting yourself, right? Which is
Oh,
one of
happy
Big
the,
stumbled
old
upon
boobied
here.
woman.
one of the reasons having this episode. So if you do see a Lechuza and you'll have the proper knowledge to fight it, ward it off, or just
Right.
repel it in
so
some way.
there are other methods.
The first thing you do is you whistle at it.
Right.
They don't like that. It's their
So
kryptonite.
There's several ways apparently
Like I
to
whistled
try
and
to
leave now.
It's not working. Fuck. Shit, I can't whistle. Fuck.
You're just going.
So you gotta get one of those. So you gotta get one of those rape whistles, man.
That's a Lechuza prevention.
Nah,
who
he's
wants
just
to-
too scared to keep
I
dropping
got
it.
it.
you want to take the list
So-
of how to protect yourself
Right,
from
yeah.
the Lechuza?
The methods to stop her or it. So yeah, there's heavy prayer, which is apparently the
a specific
main,
prayer.
Oh, it was.
It was La Magnifica.
The 12
Right.
truths, man.
Yeah.
La Magnifica.
La Magnifica. And it must be recited forwards and backwards, taken
Right.
from the Gospel
What
of
the
Saint
fuck?
Luke.
Forward
Yeah.
and
Hold on,
backwards.
hold on. And it says it's from the Gospel of Saint Luke, and it's a prayer from Mary celebrating God. And they made a mention in one of the articles that if you have the time to recite this prayer forwards and backwards, mind you that there is a Lechuza
Klaatu.
headed your way.
Yeah.
If you can pray like the fastest prayer ever, then by all means
Forward
use
and
that.
backwards.
And I'll lay you down to sleep. Leave me alone.
Go to the Eminem School of Rap so you can learn how to speak that fast.
Yeah.
And how many times do I have to do it? Just once?
Oh
What do we-
yeah,
no,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
once forwards, one backwards.
Yeah, it's only a Spanish-speaking Lechuza. You're fucked if you go in English at it.
Fuck.
It's like, okay.
Well, see, now you got to do it forwards and backwards, English, Spanish.
Yeah. So there's a. You can use salt or
Chili powder.
or chili
The
powder.
salt?
You throw it in
Salt,
its face.
what the fuck?
Apparently, you throw
Is
salt
this like
or chili
some
powder in its
fucking
fucking face.
corn in a cup, motherfucker? Like, what
Yeah, I assume. I
Look,
mean,
the bitch.
I like my meat flavorless.
Hey, and that's
that
assuming you just
mayo?
have that like carrying that in
Sin
your fucking
mayonesa.
pocket and shit. That's like some Karate Kid
don't.
They
fucking
expect
shit
you to
going on,
carry it
man.
in those
Like,
little holsters.
If you're actually carrying salt and chili powder, or they say just even salt by itself, but
They
I mean,
always undersalt my food at the Olive Garden, so
Well,
that's
there
why
you-
I carry that one.
Whoa,
And,
you have an issue with them undersalting your food at the Olive Garden?
Yeah, I'm on the fast track for heart troubles.
Oh,
all right,
all right,
Leave me
I got
alone.
you. I got you.
Yeah. I got to go out some way, and I need to do it quick. So I'm hoping to shoot for 40, heart attack, boom, done.
Critical hit.
Good life, yeah. They fucking, They roll the nat 20 on my ass with advantage.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I'm
if
laying
you
down.
cuss out the bird, it scares it away. I don't know how or specifically what the hell you would have to say. Like,
And
just
it's funny you say that, Roland, because
fuck shit ass bitch.
the story.
Sneeze.
Well, hold on, man. The one you didn't talk about though. I don't know if you're getting into it, but the rope with 7 knots.
Yes.
Like you talking
yes.
about
Go-
so you
go
talking about
right
anal
ahead.
beads?
We're back. So you're gonna mention the last the last method to warding off the Lechuza.
The last line of defense.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this is the last one. I guess so because at this point you ran into your house. You can hang a rope with 7 knots on your door or porch.
Right.
Shows respect for the creature.
Absolutely.
But 7 knots rope. That sounds like anal beads to me, man. That's all I gotta say.
The bird, like fucking owls, like flying through, and they're like, "All right, awesome."
It's
Okay,
like,
get it.
Yeah.
Seven.
Oh.
You know what's funny is that like
Joke's on you. Flap, flap, flap.
Yeah. If you fuck it up, like 6 is not enough and 8 is too much. It's got to be 7.
it's funny that the bird has to like see the respect that
It's
you
gonna
have for
count.
it. If you have respect for the Lechuza that's
Right.
supposedly attacked you, he's like, "Oh shit,
Those
you know
are-
what? I'm cool." Like,
All
we're
right,
good.
right.
Yeah,
Those
we're
are
good.
cool then, I
Those are
guess.
6 knots. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck
Back
you.
After you've thrown
minute,
salt in
that's
his face, and then
6.
you're like, you know what? I got respect for you, okay?
You know, it fucking gets up to your door or porch and counts. You see it outside counting the knots.
Yeah.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's just
And what if
picking
it
up
was a
the fucking
Lechuza that
knots.
didn't learn so well in school and
Right,
like,
yeah.
just thinks it's 6 still
Then
and still fucks you up?
You're fucked.
Just standing outside your door, looking inside your fucking window and
Bitch, I
shit.
can't count.
You're like, there's 7. And it's like nodding at you, like, no,
No.
like, there's fucking 7,
Well,
bitch.
did you guys?
You pull out matchsticks and like, okay, if you
Yeah.
take away 2 matchsticks,
I'm about to school you.
we're also supporters of cryptid education.
Yeah, exactly.
Brought to you by Milkwest Law.
Brought to you by Milkwest Law.
Damn, Ray, we need to do like the
It's our
Gonzalez.
write-off, man.
We should do like a Gonzalez law firm style
No,
advertisement.
dude.
You know?
No. That fucking Texas Hammer guy
Oh,
who fucking rides the
yeah.
eagle in his fucking commercial or whatever. That
Yeah.
guy's awesome.
We read it in the
We need to write a
Right, the
Lechuza.
Lechuza. There you go, man.
And then we have to have a disclaimer in there. We're like, no Lechuzas or other cryptids
Yeah.
were harmed
in the
or
filming
abused
of
in
this,
Yeah.
of this commercial.
By
We
the
got
way,
this shit.
Ride the Lechuza, I heard it's gonna be the new album name for the new Metallica album.
That
There
sounds
were
so
2.
fucking cool.
It does actually.
Lechuza.
There,
But then
there-
they just go like rewrite all their shit from the last album. So instead of a monster of the flame, like a Lechuza to the drunk.
stop. You're
Or
writing
the
their album
domestic
for 'em.
dispute.
And make,
Enter-
they're
enter
gonna make
the
money
Lechuza.
off this shit, man.
Like that
Or to
too.
stop disputes of the domestic kind.
We all know
whom the
James Hetfield
Lechuza
listens to this fucking
whistles.
podcast, right?
Yeah, he does. There were 2 factoids that I missed that I wanted to mention. Specifically, like how we were talking about before, like what the Lechuza will look for in their victims or why their reasoning. There was one example I came across that said that it kills for obviously it kills for food, but there was another bit that I found that says that it has to kill people to keep its powers, to replenish its magic.
Like the thing from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. It comes out every fucking like 2 generations or some shit, and
Or every other night, every Friday and Saturday night.
plays
It sniffs out the Bud Light.
play some shitty music.
Modelo fool.
The other bit was that, and I don't know if we'd gone into this, but it apparently has the power to summon storms,
Like the Thunderbird.
like the Thunderbird. Another parallel I forgot to mention,
Like the
was-
Nawali to control weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there were some stories that I came across where people had,
Like Storm from X-Men.
but not as hot. Oh.
She's a Lechuza. That's been confirmed.
Storm
So-
is the Lechuza. That's my story now.
As again as an omen of misfortune, some folks have stories or recounted tales that they see it, and then like the following night, like that area will get hit by like a huge storm or so, like fucking tornadoes and that kind of thing.
Just like COVID-19.
Sorry. I forgot to mention this before, but like how again it's an omen of death or misfortune. Something that they compared it to was the banshee, which that's European mythology again. Like you hear the banshees, if you hear the Lechuza scream, thank you. You hear it scream, like apparently someone in that household is going to die soon, or something. Super shitty is going to be coming around.
It's interesting, man, because like my grandmother would always tell me shit like that too when I was growing up. I remember one time we had a sparrow that came out into the window. It was like, it didn't hit the window, but it was kind of like on the windowsill and was scratching at the window. I guess trying to get in the house, or anyways. Yeah. And she's like, she told me like, oh, that's a belief that if the bird's at your window or your door, like someone in the house is gonna die or something like that. So I always thought that was really interesting. My grandma told me that.
Yeah. So
I guess that belief kind of permeates.
And
a lot of different cultures.
when did your grandmother die?
Yes, it does.
2 days later.
God damn.
Well, shit. I guess she was right.
And there were feathers around. Weird.
You're right. Yeah.
Never put that together till now.
She choked on a chicken wing.
We did. I don't know if we mentioned this. That one of the lore that people have mentioned for Lechuza regarding the children, that it's supposed to like come and like
carries them
like,
off
carries
to an
them
unknown
off.
location,
Yeah.
and they're never seen again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so once again, that social control, don't stray far from home at night, blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. I would imagine some of that may have actually happened because, some of these fucking owls get really huge. I would not be surprised if they couldn't carry off a baby or some shit.
There are very
So it
rare
could be an
stories
anecdotal type thing, you know what I mean?
of
Like
birds trying and doing that sort of thing because they fucking can. They're
I mean, there at this point there aren't any.
But you would
reports, I
see
think.
that in the news. Like, we would
Yeah.
hear about
Oh no,
that.
nothing recent. Like this is
I wanna-
all.
Yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah,
yes.
no, I just want to look into the
Yeah.
reports and just be like, all right, how many like kids got swooped off by fucking owls, and then just go, okay,
But-
was this a one-off that spread into it, or just did it never happen?
Well, yeah, but I mean, nowadays, no, because who the fuck even goes out of the house nowadays, Daniel? Come on, man. I mean, like, back at.
It's
For the
called
most-
Pokemon Go.
For the most part, these are
all
like.
right.
For the most part, they're like hypothetical, but
and tryhards
potential
like to jog in winter here,
possibilities
which I'd never understand.
mixed in with
Like, you're not
oral-
enjoying this. It's like
With
12
winter gear, or
degrees
just
out.
like
You're not
in shorts
enjoying
and shit?
running
That
right
sounds
now.
terrible.
Fucking
I
idiot.
saw some people the other day,
lot
man. In McAllen, here in McAllen, I was driving down Bicentennial, and I saw these fucking people. I swear to God, they were cross country skiing. I guess there's like this is a new fad type thing. I don't know, man. It's like these skis, but they got wheels on them. You're like a rollerblade.
Oh.
But they're and they were using sticks and everything too to push them. I couldn't. I don't know, man. It was.
I've seen some
Most
weird
of-
shit.
So skis
Yeah.
with wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was so weird.
Skills.
Just
It must have been college students with some little experiment.
get a
I don't know.
lawnmower.
I don't know.
Why
Like,
would you-
some of those ones, like I
I'm pretty
usually
sure
see
it was
old
like middle
farts
age.
popping around.
Yeah,
see
it was
scooters a
old.
lot now.
It was older people, man.
What's
yeah.
up with scooters? Are they like coming back?
I have no idea, man.
I know they made a go for it in the fucking early 2000s. What was that? What was that scooter that was
The
supposed to be
Rascal?
like? Yeah,
The
no,
Segway?
not that kind of scooter. I think he's talking
No,
about
no,
like the,
fuck. But I know you're talking about like
hoverboard?
the super or heavily advertised. Like, I think it had an R in the name, but yeah, like.
Well, it was like the only trick you could really fucking do with it was like spin it around.
Oh, the fucking razor wheels.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, those
Oh,
are
you're talking about the ones
embarrassing.
with like the one wheel in the bottom. Fuck that shit.
But now you got two of them and sticks for
right.
balance, and they're fitted to affixed to your feet.
They were not
That
fucked
sounds
to your feet.
fucking stupid.
They look
Yeah.
so dumb. I saw a few of those at Pan Am or whatever when we were there. Like
I did see a dude that would always like use that.
You know, I hope that fad takes off though, so I can watch people eat shit on occasion, because that must be a disaster.
yeah,
Yeah.
When
that's
that
the thing.
occurs.
Like
Holy
all
shit.
that exercise
Well,
and like you just move like 10 feet. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and how are you? I mean, how could you even fucking turn in those things? Like, I don't know.
Back to Lechuza.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Huge digression there, but
Okay, so we went over like pretty much the characteristics of the Lechuza, how kind of like the lore of where and how it presents itself, how to protect yourself, and now I mean the Lechuza.
For the most part, the Lechuza stories always involve children.
Yeah, and they're just oral stories
like
that people pass down.
Well.
So the only thing that we can kind of go on or go off of are people's accounts, and ideally you want someone's first eyewitness accounts to be first person
accounts. So before we get into some of the anecdotal stuff that we have from, like, I mean, you've got some content that you recorded, Ray, that maybe will hit the episode, maybe not. I got told a story once for a school project, whatever. But as far as like us, like I know you have your little tale, Ray, that was recorded since you were there for that Lechuza incident. But for, I guess, the rest of the table, have y'all had any, like, even just, I mean, getting spooked partially by just a big ass owl around?
So, like, I see the white owls all the time at my house. Actually, Ray was chilling with me earlier this week. And we went out to have a cigarette.
Whistle?
You know what? That's a fucking good point.
I thought it was a bat.
It wasn't.
Yeah, just like,
it wasn't. It was too big. It was too big, and the way it flew was too smooth. Bats are like spastic little bastards when they flap through the air.
Indeed.
Yeah, we were actually sitting outside, and like as we were actually talking about the
Fuck you, Bryce.
we're sitting outside Roland's backyard, and we're discussing the progress of the Lechuza episode.
We were talking about it, and one of them
just happened to fly above us.
Yep.
So.
It was.
Hey, they're talking about us.
Yeah.
Flap,
Roland.
flap.
Roland, why didn't you put on fucking Sober by Tool? Mother Mary, won't you whistle?
So yeah, like I've seen quite a few of them over the years in my backyard because the area I live near, like they had a lot of giant searchlights, and so like at night it would just attract a fuck ton of bugs, and so they would just fly through that shit and just gorge themselves or whatever the fuck on that pretty often. Like I was telling them the biggest one I'd seen was probably about as far out as my arms would go. It was a huge motherfucker, and just there it was.
So another way to put that, Roland,
huge
as tall as I am, since that's what your wingspan is.
Yeah. yeah, there you go.
I've never seen one
So
myself.
this fucking bird was 3'5".
Yeah, so
Roland's
like
in a fucking jumper seat or whatever it is, a booster seat. There you go.
Yep. That's exactly where I was. And minding my own goddamn business, having a cigarette and a beer, and here comes this big biatch. So no, yeah, I don't have any personal stories to that. Like I've just seen a lot of the white barn owls flying through, and I mean they can't creep you out. Like I think they're bad fucking ass, but like I can definitely see understand how someone's seeing that in the middle of the goddamn night, because I mean obviously they make no goddamn noise. They come out of nowhere, and they're huge. Can you know, shit themselves or whatever. I'm not one of them, but hey, whatever.
How about you, Gerry? Any Lechuza sightings?
No, I mean, not always wanted to see one, but I do look up at the tree to see if I would see one, but it never really happened to me. That's I guess the supernatural doesn't give a shit about me. I've never seen anything. I'm like, come on, give me something.
No. You want it too bad, man. You want it too bad.
Yeah.
How about you, Bryce? Apart from your sparrow story.
Well, I like Roland am a big fan of owls. I love owls. I actually used to see him a couple of times when I lived out in La Feria.
Oh no shit.
But
yeah.
I haven't seen an owl in a long fucking time, man. Honestly, and the only when I lived in La Feria, we had a 2-story house, and it was like in the middle of the night, and I guess we had big oak trees, and a branch would kind of be close to the window, and I swear that owl was right outside the fucking window. I could hear it hooting. I couldn't see it, but it was like it sounded like it was right there by the window.
Oh yeah, I guess your house was 2-story. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
Word. Sorry.
that's the only that's the only
Just
time
taking me
I,
back, like think about that road and the houses on it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck! I guess that was 2 stories. That was big enough for that."
yeah.
My bad.
I used to see them a lot out there, and I always loved owls. But I never really could understand why people were like real scared of them. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I've never seen one that huge, so I don't know. I've never seen a barn owl, I guess, like the big barn owls. But I've had friends that have told me stories, and well, even my girlfriend kind of has like a story like when she was younger and everything. But other than that, like I've never had a personal encounter myself.
Actually, I just remembered something. It was I think back in April. There was actually an owl perched on the privacy fence of my neighbor's house.
Oh,
and
word.
it was hooting a lot, and my dogs were outside and I had the windows open. My mother was freaking the fuck out. She was like,
Yeah,
bring the
I
dogs
was
back
wondering if
in.
you could tell that story, right?
Yeah, right. I had mentioned it. And he was like, oh shit, we better give him something to talk about. But yeah, I was actually just making a joke of it. Like, yeah, so what? It's a fucking owl outside. I completely forgot the Lechuza thing, you know. And she's like, bring the fucking dogs in, bring the fucking dogs in. And I was like, what's the big deal? It's a fucking owl. And then I would just realize, oh yeah, maybe they could like snatch up Chrissy. Dagon, no, but I mean Chrissy for sure.
Yeah, no. Like, no, take Dagon. Fuck that.
Fucking rips off its talons when it tries to pick him up. It's too fucking heavy.
Fuck.
But that's, other than the story that we're going to play at the end, is another incident when I was a child, but you'll hear that in just a bit.
Daniel, did you see anything out in La Feria, dude?
Not in La Feria, but in Santa Rosa I did.
Oh, really? The hell were you
Yeah, I was
doing
back when I
over
was working with Domino's. It was a late delivery out to like the fucking far ass sticks of Santa Rosa, like out on areas I didn't even know existed that were still like part of the city somehow.
Fucking Santa Rosa, man.
But it felt like, but I went so north, I was probably like in line with like Primera.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, it was way the fuck out there, and
That's
it was just the
fucking
perfect time to get spooked by a barn owl because it was clearish night, moon was out, but it was most of the trees weren't very like densely leaved, so all the moonlight was casting weird lenses of light through the fucking trees and shit, so it all really kind of spooky. And I didn't know where the fuck I was. I'd never been to this part of Santa Rosa. And then all of a sudden, just right across my windshield, a fucking barn owl like flew by. And I just went, oh shit, for a second. 'Cause I was like, that's like 70 pounds of god damn it,
Yeah, man. Some of those, dude. Some of those roads. I used to come down 107 when I was at UTRGV or ETP at the time. But like at night when I have a night class to come back, some of those roads out there,
107
man,
was the way to go, man.
Yeah, man. But some of those roads out there, they get kind of spooky at night. I mean, there's like nothing out there and shit.
Yeah.
And so that was my
empty
one,
fields.
just like, ooh, a barn owl moment. I could have like gotten into a crazy accident because it just swooshed right by, and I was going like 60 miles an hour, dude. It was terrifying.
And that's kind of the point we're trying to get across on some of these stories is that like
A lot of it, they're spooked by fucking owls.
Yeah.
But nothing
Yeah.
supernatural seen. And,
I've been told by other folks whenever they said, oh, I have a Lechuza story.
Yeah.
And basically is they just saw it spooked them out a bit, and then so that's basically all it is. And again, trying to get to the core of like this fear that people have of this. Mind you, if it is nighttime, that shit just shoots out at you.
Right.
People freak out for a fucking bug that shit comes out of
yeah.
nowhere and it's fucking big, right?
Well, it's just a giant ass
But
bird.
some people aren't aware of like some of the background of it. They just know that they're supposed to fear it because that's what their tia or dad or grandmother have told them. So I mean, they see it, it means something bad, and that's why they are afraid of it. Yeah, well, there you go. I don't know if you wanted to just go over briefly of some of these stories here. One of the stories was from El Tigre in Chihuahua. It says, man driving on a dirt road, creature swooped down on his truck, kind of like what happened with Daniel here.
The dove's blessing. I love that translation.
Also hit the windshield. Apparently, Lechuza can like stop your car engine too.
Right.
That's
yeah.
another thing that it says because it's magical.
They send out a fucking electromagnetic pulse that kills your engine.
It says the guy ran over the Lechuza backed up, ran over it again.
Yes.
Like 3 times. He tried
And
to
then
run
he
over
saw it and he sees it and then like it's
Fucking
still
gets up.
alive.
Yeah, it's still
and
fucking
he
gets
has
up.
a heart attack.
Yeah, and he has a heart
Has
attack
a
and
fucking
dies.
heart attack and dies.
So there's one
Dio
reason
mio.
not to just keep driving. Don't try and fuck with the Lechuza.
Yep, he's dead.
Right?
According to the passenger in the truck.
One of the other stories says that like I guess this village or it's a small town in Nuevo Laredo. These people tried to band together to kill the
50s.
Lechuza, and they put the child out as bait,
Yeah.
which is fucked up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
metal
Nice.
as fuck, man.
Nice.
It said they
Fucking using his young child.
his own kid is to do it. So the bird swooped
Right.
down, they shot the bird, and
For the good of the
basically-
colony, mijo.
Yeah, the bird like got away, and they went to the lady who was apparently the witch of the town, and they saw that
Yeah.
she had a bandage on her leg because like apparently she was probably the
Kill
Lechuza. She got
that
shot.
bitch.
Dude, that sounds a lot like fucking Bless Me Ultima. Have you read that book, Ray?
No, I haven't, man.
Dude,
I-
that's a whole ass fucking book. Holy shit.
Yeah, but it was a school read. But I just remember that sounds a lot like the fucking like because she had like a witch familiar or some shit.
Who the
That sounds
fuck
a-
made you read that?
Well, actually, you know what? I read it on my own accord. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I
So I was like-
read that shit in junior high. Yeah.
Trying to culture myself, Daniel.
Hey.
God damn.
No, you're good. It just said you read it in high school, so I assumed it was a forced read. 'Cause I just thought about the bullshit books got passed around our high school. I was like, don't remember that one being on anyone's reading list. So
All right, I read it like when I was 24 or some shit. All right, fucking give me a break, man. All right.
oh, that's fine. I mean, I read Of Mice and Men when I was like 25 and bawled like a baby.
Nice.
One that made me ball was Night by Eli Weasel. or
Eli
whatever.
Weasel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking rough. Thanks, 7th grade or whatever grade I was in.
Speaking of bawling your eyes out, here's a little sad tale here.
I already read it. I'm pretty pissed.
In the town of Santa Rosa, Texas. There you go.
Where I saw my Lechuza.
Wow.
Oh,
1970,
Is this Daniel's
1977. Bird was spotted by.
Yeah, it was 2005.
yeah.
Stupid white dude was lost trying to order a pizza. And,
1977 at a local Domino's.
Drunk,
the Lechuza
drunk
was
pizza
spotted in a
delivery
tree.
I was sober, thank you.
All right. Fuck with him.
Lechuza was spotted in a tree and it flew in front of the door of a woman. It was scratching at the door. The dogs that she had chased the Lechuza away, and in the morning, the dogs were dead.
Right.
Bro, I'd
Start crying.
I'd post up against the Luchuza. They killed my dogs. I'd be like, hey, bitch, get over here.
Man. Fucking dogs dying? That ain't that. Humans dying, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
But
dogs
dogs,
dying?
no.
Come on now.
Kill the witch.
Kill the
Where's my
goddamn
boomstick?
Burn
her.
What do you do with witches?
Yeah. And what floats? A duck.
What
Yeah.
what do you burn, or what do you use to burn other witches? More witches. Or
Classic shit.
wood.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, I don't know, Roland, if you wanted to go through like maybe one or two stories from the Reddit post. Something real short, nothing too long. Again, most Lechuza stories don't go any further than what we've mentioned so far.
Let's see the San Antonio subreddit. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Just trying to get this shit. Come on.
Mind you, this is in Central Texas, so this is actually outside of the area of the South Texas, Northern Mexico usual range of
Can you get it?
stories of
Oh,
Lechuza.
no, here we go.
Although you say that, Daniel,
Oh.
it is places that we have lived. You know, so we lived in San Antonio, so
No,
technically...
I'm just saying that, you know, just for those dumbasses who say San Antonio is Central
So
Texas, or
this-
South Texas, they're stupid.
Yes.
This isn't really a specific story. It's a thread,
Yeah.
and I found a few of them actually where this particular person is looking for folklore and
I love the name of this thread, though.
Yeah.
Tell me you Lechuza tales.
There was like 3 of them specifically like titled that same bit. So nobody here really goes into any specific stories. It just ties into more of how like I was talking about
I saw
before.
that. Honestly, I thought you had fucked up on the spelling or some shit, right?
No, Roland's too lazy for that. He would copy paste it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I give it to you as it's fucking posted. All right.
All right.
But no, like there really isn't anything. There's a few comments here, but they're all very like fucking synonymous with each other. In that, like how I was mentioned before, these guys were children. They saw some weird shit, and you know that was it. I mean, like you have things where it's like, I swear, caps fiend, fucking
Caps
jumping
fiend.
in here on my life, that I saw that bird. I saw it when I was 9 or 10. You know, like same thing going down. Like, I remember her telling me that Lechuza was a bruja, sold her soul to the devil. Like, she liked to take away people who are doing bad things. You know, the story my grandmother told me was Lechuzas were witches who changed their bodies into owls so they could travel around. You know, and then they have a fucking troll at the bottom of usually one of these because La Lechuza is also a fucking band and an album name, a beer name. There's a town named Lechuza, and it's like
Yeah.
so yeah,
and
like they post one of these. It's a pretty good album in my honest opinion, and then edit. Geez, I guess you all
dude,
don't like
there's
Phoenix,
there's
Texas. Sorry. Like,
There's a fucking garden
Phoenix
watering
TX.
system called Lechuza, and I was looking up for like stories on Lechuza, and that shit came up.
Yeah. So most of these are just like basically they cover everything we talked about. Someone sees one. A few weeks later, a huge storm comes through. There was the fucking tornado. Never really came down. It did a lot of damage.
What would happen
to the
if
area,
someone
those
sees
sorts
it
of
and then
things.
like the next day it's just a sunny day? They
Right.
attribute that to Lechuza too.
I'm calling bullshit.
It's 100 degrees outside. God damn, we brought the devil here.
Right. Brought the desert to my fucking front door.
I think that's the kind of the point I'm trying to get across with these is that like everyone just assumes that they or just sees it, or they say that someone else saw it. And again, I've mentioned this before, even regarding the La Llorona story. Like my grandmother used to tell me all the time, like don't go at the Resaca at night because La Llorona's there.
Yeah.
And I asked her specifically, I was like, oh, so you've seen it? And she was like, no. Well, like, well, then where did you get the story from?
My
and
cousin's neighbor's
it's like
mortician twice removed.
like 10 people removed, you know, like,
Walker.
yeah. And I'm like, but you've never seen one. She's like, no. Well, like, I go,
No,
how do you
fuck
believe that
no.
exists? And then she's like, well, because it does.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a blind belief in
Why are you gonna be in
these,
such a
superstitions.
Why are you gonna be a
you know?
naysay?
I forgot you had
Oh.
Resacas where you live, Ray. We only got
That's
fucking
a-
canals. in our
Don't you
area.
That's
believe
a
in
nice little
Jesus?
slight
Over
at
Resaca City,
Christianity
brother.
there, Ray.
Yeah.
Resaca City, brother.
They're
What's that, Daniel?
everywhere. They're everywhere.
That was a nice slight against Christianity. It was underhanded, but it was there in the subtext.
Well, I mean, if you're just superstitious about certain things, I mean, try to have some kind of
I mean,
rational
it-
explanation for it, you know? Maybe it's not
But you
real,
know what?
maybe-
Faith is stronger than that.
That's right.
Oh, shut the fuck up, the both of you.
Speak the truth.
So, I mean, again,
You're on hell, Ray.
I'm going to play a story for everyone.
Right.
This is an interview that I did with my cousin, and it's an incident that
Well, and
we
you interviewed
both
yourself too, in ways.
Yeah, I did. I figured I'd just two birds with one stone, get the point across, and not have to mention it again. So it's a conversation that we had a couple days ago, and it's recounting a story that we. It's an incident that we shared as kids with our
Shared mass hysteria.
shared mass hysteria, and it's it's the same thing, ain't it?
Nice.
Mass
nice.
hysteria is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You had,
anyways,
you had a bit of
It
air
was an
gun on the corner
oxymoron,
there,
but
Ray.
don't worry about
exactly,
it.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, no, it was redundant.
I
There you
forget.
go.
Roland's always the troll. So
Really? Wow.
How did you ever fucking put that to the back
I
of your
didn't-
mind in
no,
any
just
way,
like right
shape,
now.
or
It's because
form?
I'm so
Like,
smooth, baby.
I forget sometimes. You know.
What if
Sometimes I
part
think he's
of
being
that
sincere.
makes you forget?
Sometimes you think
not.
I'd be sincere.
It's the bandana and the fucking goggles that just right there.
Hide the
Right,
emotions.
yeah. This guy's
Hide the hair
credible.
follicles getting out of place when he's frustrated or lying to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this
Roland's a
conversation.
Gorgon.
I'm gonna play this conversation, and I'll try to edit it to a point where it's a little bit more. It's a bit tighter. It's about 25 minutes long, but enjoy that. And
Ray sounds like a fluff piece to me, man.
the fluff piece. Jeez. Okay, so right now we are going to be recording a Lechuza account. And I believe it's an account that we both have experienced. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Michelle Arguello, and I'm from South Texas, and I'm Ray's cousin.
Facts.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
So you said you had an account of Lechuza experience?
Yeah, when we were little, I would say maybe 10. Maybe I was 10, but
I think you were the oldest one. I feel like I was like 6 or 7, somewhere around there. So I guess
sounds
that
about right.
that gives you about that age
Yeah.
range. Yeah.
We used to go to our Aunt Gracie's house every summer because she had a pool, and she was the only one in our family that had a pool. So every summer, every cousin that I knew about would go swimming at her pool from like 10 in the morning to like 8 at night.
Nah, it was a lot later than that.
You're right, but I'm like,
I think
okay,
we
well,
would swim and then like take a break, eat food, watch about 6 movies.
yes, yes.
And then go back
Go
outside
back.
because the light was on in the pool.
Yeah.
And that was like the extra fun time.
Oh, yeah. So, like, because summer nights are longer, summer days are longer. So, yeah, it was more like 10. But, yeah, I just remember being out there all the time. But there was this one time that, yeah, it was like the sun was going down. So, it was time for, like, the little change and whatever. And I just remember playing in the pool, and then all of a sudden my mom is like screaming her head off and like having everyone get out of the pool. But she was, well, I don't know if she was telling us to get out of the pool or if somebody else was telling us.
I think it was your mom and my mom as well, because I recall it where your mom was yelling. I remember that.
Yes.
And my mom frantically telling everyone that we need to hurry up and get out of the pool.
Yes.
That's-
Okay. Well, our moms are twins.
It's a twins teamwork.
Yeah, so maybe that's where my confusion was. Like somebody was saying,
Yeah.
get out of the pool, and the other one was yelling, but my mom was cursing. First, I thought just at the sky. She was like, you mother, blah, 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 blah. And then she started cussing in Spanish, and I was like, who is there? What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
I was freaking out. And
Just
and it was-
just FYI, the place that we were at had a privacy fence. So when it seemed like she was staring at, like yelling at the sky, like all there were trees in the direction that she was screaming. So
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's why. But the trees were like farther in towards the back, so it was rare that I ever looked that way or that anybody looked that way. And so when she was screaming and she was pointing, and I feel like she was probably throwing the finger too, but I was like freaking out. I was like, what? I mean, I had seen my mom, have her moments.
Yeah.
But I saw her. I knew what her direction was. Like, you didn't do this. Get in there,
Yeah.
And so, but this time I was just like, what the heck? And so then we started getting out of the pool, and I felt it was like, it reminded me now when I look back of like when the army people are going through that crawl, that like mud crawl,
Right,
or like doing boot camp.
Yeah.
And the sergeant's like, move it. Like
Yeah.
when I remember, I was like, it was kind of like that. Like we
Yeah.
were all scared, and we were trying to move as fast as we can, and there was a lot of splashing. But I look back, and I could barely see it. But then our moms were talking about it afterwards. But it was a big white owl, and they were like, it was the Lechuza, and they connected it with some people. They thought we're doing something to them, witchcraft type stuff.
Yeah.
And so they were like freaking out, and then they started freaking me out. I was like, what? there's witches, owls, and witches are the same thing. So, which is interesting looking back now, because I have friends who are like, owls are so nice. Like, they're supposed to be a good owner.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you didn't grow up in the valley. You don't know the dangers of the Lechuza.
Yeah.
Because it was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't look huge to me, but then I remember, okay, it was really far away. So if it looked average far away, I think it was probably really big, and it wouldn't move. Like, my mom was yelling, and it just like stayed staring, and that's why she kept going and kept going.
What I recall from that, basically everything you just said, I did hear the whistling of the Lechuza, and I think that's what it was like.
We know it's there.
What's the word I'm looking for? I guess aggravating the situation. And your mom was yelling even more because she was like you want to. I remember her saying something like, "You want to whistle at me, motherfucker?" You know, like, and I mean, we're kids and we're just I'm just like, what? You know?
Yeah.
What's going on? And my mom's like holding me tight, you know, because the bird. If you don't know, like the whole thing is that, like, they say, yes, the Lechuza like transforms into a witch, but also that it eats children.
I did not know
But
that
like
part.
that the talons on the Lechuza are strong enough to pick up children and take them away.
Well, I guess that would explain.
That would explain
I would be pretty frantic too. I just know that my mom she wouldn't talk to me about it, but we overhear their conversations all the time.
Yeah,
and so
I think a lot of my mom. I mean, my mom's talked to me about it, but I assume that your mom usually doesn't want to talk about any of that stuff.
Oh,
'cause
no.
It freaks her out. You know?
everything I know is just from overhearing her conversations with family members. So I just know that there was probably some witchcraft involved that she was trying to like keep away.
Yeah.
Like, there's the white magic and the black magic, and the Lechuza was part of the, if I'm remembering correct, like
it's
the
black.
dark magic.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Well, because I mean, again, it goes hand in hand with like the La Llorona and like coming
Yeah.
to take your children. And
I see. Yes. That makes sense.
The Lechuza coming to take your children.
Yeah.
What other things are going to come take your children? But most of them are used as some kind of behavioral tactic to kind of keep the kids in line, you know? But I mean, if you're outside and you actually see the bird and you think that the thing's actually going to come and eat your kids, I would imagine you would get frantic too, you know?
Let me think. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that would explain everything. But I just know that, I mean, at least my mom was always like, I knew that she would protect me no matter what, you know, like she, you know, both extremes of this, but I knew if anything were to ever come up that I would be safe with my mom because
Right,
she
for
didn't
sure,
take
yeah.
crap from anyone.
Yeah.
So she was like yelling, and I was like, I don't see anybody.
Remembering that situation, I remember her like almost like threatening the Lechuza for a fight.
Yeah, no, that's what I remember
yeah.
because she was yelling and she was. I felt like she kept going closer to
Yeah,
it. She did,
she
right?
got like
Yeah.
almost. If the thing was on the ground, she probably tried to get up in its face, you know. But I mean, it was up in the trees apparently, and she was yelling at it directly and like, "Come on, you want to do something?" Like, I mean, we're gonna use all the language that she was using. I
Yeah.
mean, she was like going off on the bird, like.
Yeah.
Like you would see anyone fighting in the streets, you know.
Yeah.
Like she was about to fight fist to fist, fist to claw with this Lechuza.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I just remember sitting on the bench after they got us out of the water. I don't remember where everyone else was. We might have been sitting on the bench too. But your mom going out there and yelling at the bird, and my mom sitting next to me. Of course, she's like holding me, like don't worry. And I'm like, well, what's going on, Mom? She's like, there's a Lechuza out there, and I'm like, it makes no sense to me. I don't know
what
anything
that
about this,
is.
you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, as time goes on, they mention, okay, well, Lechuza is a bird, like it's an owl. No one ever mentioned to me that it was supposed to eat children.
Well, me either. I mean, I think I just
that was
found
just
that out now.
like a fear of the bird.
Okay.
Again, having to do with witch, and I think it's the history of our mothers having to deal with either people in the past that dealt in that kind of stuff. They put the extra fear into them.
Yeah.
And I imagine if they saw the bird, they imagined that was just kind of coming back to haunt them, you know, like
Yeah.
to come and take their kids or whatever. And I think the other day your mom was mentioning that whenever they were at the ranch at Tia Seven, Tia Fina's house, my mom told me the story before that they were sleeping and they saw someone floating outside.
Someone
Floating outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, that would
Yeah.
go in line with my mom.
Yeah,
saying,
everyone's fear about
Yeah.
these types of things and like
Yeah.
witchcraft in general. Because growing up, I mean, I heard ghost stories, but I never heard like too many personal ghost stories. I know in the past they've mentioned that there's a lot of witches around. The lady down the road, she was a witch, but she's probably like some.
And what did that really mean, like being a witch? Like, I know
Well,
what we remember or what I think of a witch in the movies.
I don't know if anyone really explained that to us. It was just, at this point, it's just, it seems just a play on like childish
intent
or childish
or-
ignorance a bit.
Okay.
Because there was just words thrown around, and those words have weight to them.
Yeah.
Someone says they're a witch,
Boom.
that's scary. You don't
Yeah.
get near them, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really find out the reality of the situation. You just know that from afar, like they're a witch, you know. If you actually go and talk to them, maybe they're not a witch. They're just weird looking, you know. or they
knew natural medicine because
yeah,
I
that's
remember.
another thing. Yeah.
I remember. I think my mom thought one time that I had like someone gave me
Cursing,
ojo.
Yeah.
You know. So here, this is when I know it's something having to do with like either bad or cultural folk tales. Is that it was in Spanish?
Yeah.
So Lechuza, Spanish word. Okay. La Llorona, Chupacabra,
Yeah.
Ojo, like
Yeah.
all of those things were always told us in Spanish. And so I'm like, okay, this is
It's serious,
legit or
yeah.
serious stuff that they're like no joke.
Yeah.
And so she took me to a lady who touched my nose and she said, "You have a lot of fear. Give her this tea." And looking back, it was just chamomile tea. so she told her, "Give her this tea. It'll help
Basically,
her with the fear." So I'm like, she just knew her essential oils type stuff. Like,
give her this tea. Oh, chill her out. Like she's fine. She'll be fine. She'll calm down. Like it's
Yeah.
just calming tea. That's all
yeah.
it is.
So that lady wasn't really doing white magic because they said
Yeah.
white magic would ward off the evil
Yeah.
stuff. She was just, aware of things, natural remedies.
Right,
At least
yeah.
that's my interpretation. I'm like, well, if she just gave you regular tea, because I remember
She
walking
gives
into
you,
the
like-
store.
She gives you like the tea, and then she's like throws out some Vicks.
Crazy. But yeah, so I remember several times I walked into a couple of stores and like, because they say your olfactory system is like your strongest sense because it goes directly to your brain.
Right.
And so I remember smelling that herb walking into the store and I immediately went back to that and I was like, what is that? Because I didn't know what it was. I was
Right.
like, what is that? There's magic in this store. And it was
It's
just
just-
chamomile
yeah.
tea. And so I'm like, okay, I wasn't, endued with weird stuff. It was just, hey,
Yeah.
she's not, there's nothing wrong with her. She just has a lot of anxiety and this
Yeah.
natural stuff will help
Yeah.
relieve some of that. So
Well, I
that's why
mean,
I'm like, what is a witch really?
yeah.
Just someone who uses.
Well, growing up and we've heard all these stories and stuff like that. I always tried to probe a little bit deeper. Like for instance, when Grandma used to talk about La Llorona and seeing that person or the La Llorona at the Resaca at the JFK Park, which is now the Heaven Trail.
Yeah.
I remember asking one time, I go, "So you actually saw this?" She's like, "No, like someone else saw it." And I'm like, "But have you ever seen it?" And she was like, "No." And I go, "Then how do you know it's real?" Because so and so said. I go, "Well, that doesn't prove to me that it's real because
Yeah.
you keep saying it like with such conviction,
Uh-huh.
like you saw it. And
Yeah.
if you saw a firsthand account, then I'm more inclined to maybe believe your story.
Yeah.
But I don't know these fools you're talking about, and they could be just liars,
Yeah.
And I mean, that, and then asking my mom about the Lechuza and stuff. I'm like, she just knows it's something to fear. There's I haven't come across most folks who
Have seen And pick up a kid.
Yeah, seeing it pick up a kid or literally transform itself. You know, there was a situation where I was driving from Edinburgh. When I was living in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And I lived in my these apartments, like towards the back corner. My apartment was on the second floor, and it kind of had a wide open space where I could see the whole city of Edinburgh, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one night I was driving home, and I would drive through the back where all the, I guess the alleyway is, because the parking lot was in the back.
Mm-hmm.
When I turned the corner into my apartment complex,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a ways to drive because there was a few apartment complexes before mine.
Yeah.
There was a Lechuza, or the white owls, perched on top of the corner.
Yeah.
And the minute I turned the corner, it followed me to my apartment complex. So I parked. I parked, right? And I was just kind of turning around looking at it. Like, I didn't have any fear towards it. I was like, oh, man, that's a Lechuza, man.
It's following me.
Yeah. And I walked up the stairs, and it was still perched on the fence, right?
Yeah.
And on the other side of the fence was a ditch, right?
Uh-huh.
And I told my friend that I was living with, well, his name was David. And if you're listening, we've spoken about him before. I mentioned, I was like, very casually talking, not in a fearful way. I was like, hey, there's like a Lechuza outside, man. He flipped out. He was like, what? No, man, that's bad. That's bad. That's a bad omen, man. I go, well, what's so bad about it?
Uh-huh.
He's like, those things transform into witches, man. They transform into witches. I go, well, let's stare at it and see if it does. And he's like, no, I can't. I go,
Uh-huh.
I went outside into the balcony. And I was just staring. I was like, I had a chair there, and I just sat there. It's a nice breezy night out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And owl's just right there. It's not staring at me with dead eyes or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there, kind of like being a bird, just perched. And he's staring out the window. I was like, oh man, like, it's gonna turn into a witch. I go, well, if you're gonna turn into a witch, bring your camera out, man, so we can get this on film. And he's like, I can. And he just went back to his room and just never came back out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was just laughing the whole time because his fear seems so deep rooted, but no one really knows what they just hear. All the rumors that they hear, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I see the owl. It's gonna. Most people don't. I mean, didn't hear about the eating children until recently when I was reading up about it.
Uh-huh.
I just know it's there and it means something bad.
Yeah.
No one ever said it's gonna come and like grab you off the ground and like fly away with you.
Yeah.
But apparently that's one of the stories too. But it also transforms into witches, has to deal with a witchcraft or some type of magic or whatever.
Or like bad intention. Someone wanting to do something bad to you, so they call on the owl to go and do something. I don't know.
Like,
But
it's the equivalent of giving a pigeon a message and like sending, you know, like we're still doing this with the birds. Like, okay.
maybe all of those things morphed together and just kind of like made this one.
But
legend.
there's it goes back to like Greek mythology with the bird called the harpy, which basically had almost like human-like features. So, I mean, a lot of these folk tales like morph from throughout the ages into wherever it hits locally.
Yeah.
And that's where it expands into your own little story.
Yeah.
But if you see little pictures, I mean, it looks like it's got a human face with like giant claws and stuff. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy. But I guess that would. I mean, I see how like things have evolved through different generations. You're like, well, what's the origin? Oh, really? Not that big of a. It's just an observation, and then someone interprets that the way they.
Yeah, I would say it's more dangerous if you're driving and you see a Lechuza and you focus on that as opposed to the road.
Yes.
That'd probably be worse for you than the Lechuza just being around. So.
Yeah. But you know, my dad, René, he has firsthand accounts of several things.
Oh,
and I'm like.
I've heard stories. I mean.
So he's seen stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to get some more information about, like, did you do anything before that to have any, maybe hallucinations, but maybe, but he's not the only one. Like my aunts and uncles.
Yeah, and I've heard those stories, those ghost stories
and
too.
those are.
And
like,
those are like,
oh, okay, multiple people.
I've heard those stories from them specifically, and I mean they were kids when they saw these things.
Yeah.
So that makes it even weirder, you know.
And they were in the South.
Yeah.
So I'm
Georgia.
like, okay, there's there's some connections. This is
Yeah.
not just a random.
I mean, I wouldn't discount anyone's like firsthand like ghost or paranormal experience because I mean, I wasn't
It's
there,
fu-
so I can't say
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I've had experiences myself, and I try to rationalize them away. But if you can't, well, then you just can't, and
Yeah.
they just happen. So
Yeah. I hear
Yeah.
that. Yes, I have too. But I think mine have been more like I hear something
yeah.
and it does not go away. So,
Well, I've seen things, and I've seen things, but they don't affect me as I think they would.
mhm.
Like I see him, I hear things, and I'm just like, well, okay. Like there's nothing I can do about it. I don't have a proton pack or anything. I can't fight these things. They're just gonna be there, and it's just gonna happen regardless. So.
So I think I had a lot of anxiety growing up
Mhm.
when it came to this kind of stuff because I was a kid and I experienced
Yeah.
some things. But now I think I was mentioning to you earlier that I've learned to deal with or to communicate, hey, I'm having high amounts of paranoia right now.
Right.
I want to lock all the windows and all the kids are sleeping in our room tonight
Yeah, I
until
gotcha.
my fear decreases. And my
Right.
husband now is like, okay, he just lets me go through and I'm able to communicate instead of freaking everyone
Yeah.
out thinking it's the end of the world
Yeah.
and there's a, whatever. So
Gotcha.
that's something that I've grown to accept
Right.
a fear that whether it's been ingrained in me since I was little, and so it's harder to like separate reality from fear at times. Like, where it's just a feeling, or if it's an actual, like, something that's actually happening,
Right.
and I'm in my certain states, I'm the only one aware of it.
Right.
But it's because I'm the only one with a heightened level
Gotcha.
of, So
Yeah,
So
I have
that's-
a friend of mine who has the same level of anxiety. Like, and he's experienced a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. And again, I haven't experienced too much, so I guess that's why I'm pretty calm about a lot of these things. And I've only experienced stuff like when I was older, so I'm kind of.
so it's
things kind of just whatever.
you're
you know.
able to reason or
Oh,
like
I'm able to kind of just let it go.
okay.
Like if something happens or I see it, I'm just like, oh, well, then it's just gonna happen. Like there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, my friend's had stuff happen to him since he was a kid, and that involves like hearing a lot of things around his house, seeing things around his house. I think the big one was experiencing like the sleep paralysis, and that messed him up even more.
Oh, that's really
So
hard.
that messes up a lot of people.
Yeah.
And from people who have experienced that, no matter who they are across the board, it's like one of their biggest fears. Like, and I can understand. I've never experienced it, so I can't say how I would react to that. Maybe the same way, because you're pretty much at your most vulnerable, helpless, and you think like there's a high level threat.
Yeah, no, that's
in your
exactly how it
presence,
is.
so I mean,
yeah, it's exact. I haven't experienced the sleep
Yeah.
paralysis,
I
but
wouldn't want to.
my husband has. But
Oh,
he's
okay.
learned over the years that this is just sleep paralysis, and I just need help getting out of it because I don't like
Gotcha.
the way it feels. Not like a literal threat. He's been able to be like, this is not a threat. I really don't like this feeling, and it's freaking me out, and I need to learn how to get out of it.
Right, right.
So, and I think as an adult, these levels of anxiety where you go back to maybe childhood things and it feels like it's happening now. Like I've learned, oh, maybe it's just something's going on with my vision and that's why I'm seeing things and it's okay. I just need to wait until whatever is happening in my brain passes. But maybe that hat there is not, the hat of an ancestral relative. It's just a visual perception issue that I'm waking up, just different things like that. And so,
Well, I mean, I know as a kid, I grew up watching a lot of horror movies and like having nightmares and all those kinds of things.
yeah.
But the thing is, like, my reaction to all that stuff, like if I would wake up in a cold sweat, like heavy breathing, scared, I would just go back to sleep. I would just be like, whoa.
Not me.
That was like intense. Like sometimes I'd be crying and stuff like, oh, like something bad happened.
Yeah.
And I just go, whew, and just hit the pillow again, like nothing ever happened.
Wow.
And again, I don't know if that was because early childhood desensitized to a lot of those types of things. But again, nothing replaces it being in the moment of that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it all day long. If you see a zombie, you're going to freak out. You know? But I don't know. I haven't had like a traumatic experience in that sense. So I haven't reacted I haven't reacted like negatively towards any of those things. Or I haven't had that negative feeling. So.
Or like that fight or flight.
Yeah.
You haven't been, it hasn't
Unless
gotten
I
you into
see
that.
a very suspicious looking UFO, then I might go like, sweet, or like, we need to get out of here now. Yeah. But, yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Always interesting trying to flesh out stories and past, like, what was that real, or how
Yeah.
in depth was that? Does that
Yeah.
go? You know?
Is your memory even reliving the truth? Like,
Yes, I've thought about that too.
Yeah.
Like several stories where somebody remembers something totally different than what I did, and I was
Yeah.
like, "No way! Don't you remember this part?" And they're like, "No, I remember this part." And yeah,
Yeah.
what is the fact? What actually happened?
All right.
Cool,
I guess that's the end of that.
awesome.
Did you have any questions, Roland, regarding the incident?
Okay, so when you first saw it as a little chillin', how many people were there again? It was yourself and your cousin.
Well,
your
it was my
parents?
aunt's house, so my aunt, my
Barry's
uncle,
cousins,
my
you said?
mom, my aunt. Probably about 5 cousins,
Oh, okay.
5 or 6
so
cousins.
all of you guys were there
Yeah.
and shit the bed.
So
or
about
the
10
pool,
people there,
rather.
all in all.
roughly, yeah. And my aunt was cussing. I mean, my aunt was cussing the
Did
shit
they
out
all
of the fucking.
did they all
Lechuza.
react to it, or
Yeah. Everybody
were
reacted to it.
you the only one there that was just like, oh, cool?
Well, I wasn't all cool. I mean,
He was there trying to practice whistling at it.
go, don't do that. But I want to see it.
Somebody show me how to whistle. Gotcha, bitch.
Like, sounds at it. Like, come on. That was a whistle, right?
We mentioned the fact that if you cuss at it and shit, it goes away, and basically that's what happened.
Right.
Is that my aunt was saying, "Come on, motherfucker, you want to fuck with me? You're not gonna fuck with my kids. Come on, motherfucker," the whole time.
Yeah. And then one of them was like,
And the Lechuza was just whistling back at her.
yeah.
So I mean, I could hear the whistle and shit. So, when I heard the whistle, I was like, "What's that whistling?" My mom told me she was the fucking owl up there, and I was like, "Well, what's the big deal?" And she's like, "You just stay away from it." And my aunt was like,
Want to die?
my aunt was acting what, like, I guess I would assume Roland like fucking throwing the finger at it, like, "Fuck you, motherfucker," the whole time. So
Right. Yeah.
there wasn't much an extent of cuss words other than "fuck you, motherfucker." You want to fuck with me? Come fuck with me. Come whatever the fuck. Blah 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 blah.
Nobody tried praying at it.
I don't think anyone knew the fucking prayer.
Magnifica, man.
Yeah.
Our Father, Father our. Art in heaven our. I don't know. Fuck. Wrong prayer, right? It
Just
just
the whole thing and open a portal to hell while you're at it.
yeah. Right. But yeah, so I mean, that's the last I saw of it until when I saw it at the Chestnut. So
Right.
And it was the same. Ow.
it was the same hour, right?
Back again.
It was raised double 13 again.
He's like, I remember you.
You can't whistle for shit.
I go, David, get the 7-knot rope.
Those whistling classes.
David, get the Mrs. Dash.
Get the kosher salt.
Oh fuck! It's salt free.
Get the sea salt. It's really gonna fuck with his eyes.
Right.
Get the salt gun. Get the salt
Take
gun.
this Himalayan.
Himalayan your ass.
Get the fucking Lucas.
You can see that shit coming. Fucking, it just fucking obliterates the fucking Lechuza as you throw the fucking Lucas at it.
Poof of feathers.
Flows into feathers and shit.
As you see the fucking feathers like fall in a little place, you fucking
The
get that
tahini,
extra
what's it
Lechuza in your
called?
hand, in your fucking palm, and then lick your hand.
What was that called? Tahini? What is it?
Oh shit.
They go from that point on. I carried an assortment of fucking Lucas lollipops.
Spicy. The tamarindo.
Various seasonings and
You
shit.
just throw the lollipop, the spicy lollipop at it. Fuck you.
Right? You shove the watermelon Lucas popsicle up his ass or lollipop. Sorry.
My weakness.
It's the fucking owl that wants the Tootsie Roll Pops. Whoa, no.
They go that happens, and then here it comes Moquest Law. We're in court with Moquest Law.
Right. Whoa, I'll sue.
Lechuza.
Take you to bird law court.
You go, according to bird law, you cannot sodomize birds with a
So,
lollipop.
like,
Right.
for Lechuza under
We are.
bird law or under cryptid law?
Both really
Both.
represents both.
That's a dope.
It's very situational, depending on
a
the
crossover.
crime.
Because if there's a familiar involved, then like, do you
Who's going to represent it?
room? You just like
ooh. And
Earth.
if it's a
You're gonna
familiar,
take it
is
to
the
fucking-
actions of the familiar, does that make the
I'll see you at Judge
witch
Judy.
liable?
If it's discrimination, you're saying it's a regular
Makes the witch
owl.
liable for the behavior of the familiar.
That's right. They're responsible.
So does it go from bird law to cryptid law to just normal, like criminal
criminal
law?
law.
That's
like
right.
This is why Moquest Law University has been opened.
Right. It's, these are important questions that we must answer and
MLU.
legislate.
Yeah, we have
Well,
a.
get our law degrees, and then we'll start.
Our
Or maybe we should. Here it is.
Must become the
We need
Cryptid law.
if it doesn't exist, we need to create a petition on Facebook for everyone to sign for cryptid law
certificate.
to be to make a certificate or some
Fuck
shit.
it. Start a GoFundMe.
Oh shit!
Right.
And yeah, let me take the LSAT. Not the first fucking GoFundMe. Second GoFundMe. I'm trying to go to wherever will fucking take me.
So how big was it?
It'll be the fucking same
both-
school that fucking the Fonz's character on Arrested
Oh,
Development
fuck.
went to for the maritime law bullshit. So I went to the School of Maritime Law and specialized in terrestrial cryptid law.
Minor in bird law.
It's accredited.
It's online, but it's accredited.
How big were they?
What, the bird, the
Yeah.
Lechuza? I would say like normal. I mean, they didn't seem any bigger than any normal owl that I would have
Normal
seen.
barn owl, just about.
Now, the one that when I saw when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I don't recall. I mean, it was fucking far away.
Oh, okay.
But the other one it was close, and it just looked like a regular owl to me. So I mean, didn't look like anything suspicious or malicious or
Anything
scary or
special.
cryptid-like. I didn't see the wingspan. I didn't see it fly off. I was hoping
it was just there to take
that
the
it would
beer.
transform into a witch near the ditch.
Mm.
So didn't happen. I got tired of just staring at the fucker. It was just perched on the fucking fence, and I just went inside. I was like, "You
All right.
are not doing your job."
I'm going back to
No.
watching sci-fi, bitch. Peace.
And the person who was afraid of it went to the room already. So, which was funny is though
Yeah.
that his window was facing the fence where the I was perched.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was hoping, and there was like those parking garage covers.
Oh yeah.
Like that
See,
shit.
the-
That shit
the
could
car-
have
the
that,
carport.
that,
Scratch on his fucking window.
yeah, that shit could have been perched right fucking there in front of his window.
Yeah, the carport.
Which would have been great.
No, I'm saying you should have gotten your fucking ass up there and started fucking with his window. Oh my god.
Surprised you never got an owl mask or something, man.
Just fucking sitting out
Just
his
sit on the
fucking
corner
window.
of the couch in an owl mask.
Oh, that would have been so funny.
David comes out. I fucking hate Pete Townsend.
I'm not even mad about the Lechuza.
Fuck you.
That's the worst album ever. Does anyone have anything else to add about the Lechuza or anything else that we
I think
talked
we
about
covered
today?
most of the fun.
I think we did
Yeah.
fairly well. I mean, I always say that these episodes are going to be like an hour and a half long.
No.
No, it never happens. Okay, so again, Yeah, we want to thank the listeners for sticking around. If you have stuck around up until this point, please, we thank you for
Yeah,
that.
approaching 147 minutes.
Woo! Yeah.
We do want to make sure to tell everyone to subscribe on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, or you can subscribe on the website, moquastudios.com. Rate and review us on any one of they give you the option for that. Please do that. Any rating is a good rating for us.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll take it.
If you hate us, we still love you.
And if you'd like to support us any further, you can go to Patreon, www.patreon.com/moquastudios. Or we are selling merch for Valley Strange. It's just a logo, a sweatshirt. You can buy that.
It's a cool
support
shirt,
us.
man. Throw some dollary dudes.
The link will be in the description. And if you're going to be watching on YouTube.
But wait,
the link
is it set
below
up
as
like
well.
all our other merch, Ray?
Pardon?
Is the Valley Strange design like all of other merch? So you can get a shirt. You can get a
No,
long
it's
sleeve
no.
shirt.
It's just a shirt and a sweatshirt that's available currently.
Bullshit. But cool.
And we also want to thank. We had entered into a Roadcast podcast contest.
What about the Ray plush?
And oh, that's not available just yet. We're getting the
Ray waifu.
Yeah, the Ray
I think,
the Ray
I
fucking
think
waifu pillow.
a Roland plush will be better.
Oh, fuck
You can dress it up in different bandanas and stuff like that.
Goggles and stuff.
That's what needs to happen, man. The Ray waifu pillow,
all
man.
you
But
guys.
it's gotta be the one where you flip over and it's like you in underwear or some shit, man.
Fuck off.
Both hands just have fucking little finger.
put a little
Yeah,
beer
just
on
you
his
grabbing your ass cheeks, man.
No, use those cover your nipples.
Oh, you all suck.
It'll be the accessories for bandanas will be separate. Obviously.
Oh man.
like the
Bandanas
fucking
sold separately.
like the elf on the shelf. You can buy the clothes and accessories.
On the shelf.
Fierce gaze.
if you squeeze the hand, it goes.
Elf on a shelf. You got a rag on a hag.
Okay, like I said, thank you to everyone who did vote for us in the People's Choice section of the Roadcast podcast.
Yep. Thanks.
Fuck yeah.
Um,
Thank you guys.
We'll
Thank
let
you so
you
much.
know our social medias if we did
Whatever,
win.
like whether we win or not, we were on the main fucking
Regardless,
page,
we
you
were
know,
we were involved, and there was
for-
a step in the right
coming
direction.
From nothing.
So again, follow us on all the
thanks.
social medias: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Mocha Studios. And just a quick promo or quick mention of our next episode. We're going to be doing a Books of the Strange, Volume 3. That's going to be of Zachariah Stitchin's 12th Planet. So if you happen to come across the book, you want to read along and then listen to the podcast, or if you have any sort of suggestions or comments regarding the book itself, or maybe some sort of take that's something we don't talk about, please share it on social media, and we will talk about it here on the podcast.
We'll call you a liar.
The Anunnaki are fake. They're not fake, right? They're not.
fuck you.
Oh, that's the other hand, Roland, that you push. Click. Fuck you. Push the other hand.
And when you give him a hug, he says, "Eat a dick."
Yeah, all that shit. Shit,
Yeah,
man.
and a sub-cunts
This is gonna
would work,
be.
too.
Did we mention
this
he
is
has a
gonna
pulley
be
string in the back
the
with
Roland-
multiple
Bulldog,
lines?
man.
Jerry's has a good idea. Put a string in the back.
A pull
That's a good
string?
idea.
Yeah, the pool doll. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
That's a
old
one.
Woody.
And
There's
by
a
the way,
snake in my fuck off.
And the Daniel doll can have a bottle opener on the back.
place to hold your cigarettes.
There you go. Man.
Actually, so
got a
I found
sleeve.
the coolest chair at Walmart yesterday. Accidentally, it's a camper chair, but it comes with a little like zippered section and Velcro section on one of the arms where it's insulated, so you can throw some ice and like fit like maybe 3 beers.
Nice.
And also on the interior of it, it's got a little string with a bottle opener attached to
All right.
it.
Nice.
All right.
I didn't know this when I bought the chair, so I just whipped out. I was like, "What's this? Oh my god, this chair's for me!"
If you haven't guessed by now, we really like
Yes.
beer. So again, thank you for everyone who voted. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed already. Thank you for everyone who listens. We're going to be signing off now. My name is Ray,
It's Roland.
and in Pacific Northwest Studios,
This is Daniel.
and remoting in from his own home studio,
Bryce.
and returning guest Gerry. Hopefully, you'll be back for other podcasts and not just this one.
For sure. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
Peace.
Take care.
Let it.
Lechuza.
Brought to you by Mo Whistler.
Don't call it, Daniel.
Little midgets came into my house. Hey, it's ridiculous. I had some kind of a rectal probe. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Ah, shit.
It kind of was, but that was. If I'm gonna whistle at Lechuza, it's gonna. That was me, yo. That was me. I know, and that's the whistle I'm gonna use against Lechuzas, man. Like it's. I've been thinking about this for
Anti-Lechuza
years.
Don't be scared.
So when I find one in the Pacific Northwest, you guys may not hear from me again.